All right. All right. Let's get this party rolling. So I got to get the people over on the TikTok stream ready to go. And then we can start inviting over some guests. So, hey everybody. Good to see you. This is the Bible Guy here, coming at you live from Northeast Texas. We're going to, dunk on some dogma today. I think that sounds good. How about you guys? Hello, heathens. Hello, everyone. I'm going to bring up our co-host for the day, Miss Ashland. Hello, Miss Ashland.
Miss Ashland is well, it's not my mother. Her name's Susan, but Miss Ashland. Ew.
Everyone, make sure you tap that screen and share the live with those you love, with those you hate, with your friends and with your enemies. Tap that screen like Jonathan wanted to tap King David. Also, speaking of Jonathan tapping King David, I am currently working on, and by the end of this night, we'll have like a YouTube membership that you can subscribe to. And which will allow you guys, for example, for like the level 1 subscribers, you'll get access to all these really cool like stickers that I've made, including a really cool sticker of Jonathan and King David smooching with a pride flag. So there you go, guys. Speaker VFNA microphone not available. Open audio settings to check. Are you able to hear me, Ash?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I don't know what that's about. I'm just going to ignore that. How professional. Let's see. And we've got our first guest already for the day. Isn't that fantastic? All right. Let me make sure that I don't have any super chats first before we take in our first guest. Let's see. No, we're good to go. All right. So we're going to bring on certain Cyril TVA, certain Cyril. I'm going to ask you the same 3 questions that I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
No, unfortunately. I love your energy, though.
Okay, well, sorry, we do not talk to children on the slide, but thank you for your patronage or your watching, or, But I'm going to bring up our next guest, I guess. Then we got here D Wild Than. I'm going to have to ask you to tell me how to pronounce your name first and foremost, or what we should call you.
Just call me D.
Are you at least 18 years old, D?
Yes.
And what are your pronouns?
She, her.
And are you a theist or atheist?
Atheist.
All right, D. We don't have any opposition right now, so I guess we can have you come up for a moment. Is there something? What brings you up to the live?
I just wanted to talk to somebody that wasn't mad. I've been scrolling here and I'm watching all these people going on about the Bible and just frying my head. I just wanted to speak to somebody that wasn't stupid.
So you're an atheist. I suppose do you not get a lot of opportunity to talk to fellow atheists here on the online, or are you just oversaturated with Christian commentators right now?
I think it's just that the algorithm has sent me towards the Christian people. And not just Christians. It just seems that people are pushing this religious aspect. I just came across one guy who was talking about Muslims and the Constitution, and I was thinking, well, doesn't it say somewhere in the Constitution that you have to divide church and state?
This is true. I wish that that the politicians here in America would actually listen and adhere to that principle a little bit more thoroughly. But yeah, we definitely have a separation of church and state. If you're Christian or Muslim or Jewish or any religion, you cannot impose your religious beliefs upon any individual by means of a government mandate. But it looks like they disappeared. All right. But is there something you'd like to specifically talk to us about, D?
Hey,
No, I
Dalton.
was hoping that somebody else would come on here and maybe make some points that we could discuss.
Well,
I'm
I only when it comes to like debates with Christians, I only like have like my co-host up. But I appreciate your fervor for debate.
Dalton, I have to step away for like 2 seconds.
All right,
I'll be
all right.
back.
But D,
Apologize.
it looks like I got another guest coming up, but thank you for coming up, and I hope that the Christians don't drive you wild.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You have a good night.
All right, we're gonna bring up our next guest, Mr. Or Luke Skyrunner. That's a cool name. Luke Skyrunner, I'm going to ask you the same 3 questions I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes.
Question number 2, are you an atheist or a theist? And if you're a theist, what kind?
I'm a Christian theist.
All right. And then question number 3, what are your pronouns?
He, him.
All right. Luke, he, him. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. I'm an atheist who likes to talk about the Bible. Which one of the 6 topics above my head would you like to discuss?
Yes. Hi, Dalton. I'm wondering about the Bible not being inspired, and in speaking about Jesus, is it the Jesus of the Bible you're talking about, or is it just like maybe a different Jesus?
No, Jesus of Nazareth wasn't the Messiah.
Okay, so is it are we talking about the Jesus according to the Bible?
Yeah. Yeah, he wasn't the Messiah. He didn't fulfill any messianic prophecy.
So he was called the Christ, yes?
Yeah, I mean, but so was Bar Kokhba. Bar Kokhba was also called Messiah, which is a cognate of the word Christ. Lots of people are called Messiah, but just because someone's called Messiah doesn't mean they are Messiah.
Sure, but according to a story, if you're reading about a character, you have to take what the story tells about the character, yeah?
No. So the Gospels make a lot of claims about Jesus of Nazareth, that he fulfilled X, Y, and Z prophecy. For example, Matthew makes this claim more so than any other Gospel author, and over and over again, the Gospel authors are constantly misquoting the Hebrew Bible in order to make it look like Jesus was the Messiah. But if Jesus didn't fulfill prophecy, then I have no good reason to think he was the Messiah. Thank you for the heart.
Maybe the Messiah according to some other text, but according to the particular passage you're
According to
talking
the Old
about, he
Testament.
is.
According to the Old Testament.
Sure, yeah. So according to one book, he's not, but according to another, he is.
Well, why? No, okay. So the authors of the New Testament make the claim Jesus was the Messiah because he fulfilled prophecy. The
Yeah, so
prophecy,
in their story, he is.
yeah, from the prophecy of the Hebrew Bible. But when we go back and we look at that prophecy, those quote unquote prophecies that he fulfilled, they aren't actually fulfilled in him, and sometimes they aren't even about the Messiah.
So I think the problem is you're trying to make the Bible out to be like it's got one author.
No, I don't.
These are
believe,
multiple stories.
I don't believe I don't believe the Bible has only one author. We
Yeah,
explicitly like teach against that here. The problem is not that about number of authors. The problem is that the New Testament makes a claim about Jesus of Nazareth that just doesn't hold water.
Yeah, but that's not how stories work. So
I understand that it's a story, Luke. I'm saying that the story is wrong.
Yeah, so if someone wrote about, say, Star Wars, right, and they're giving you, say, like the
But
official canon.
Star Wars is fiction, and if you're a Christian, you don't think the Gospels are fiction, right?
So I think that probably the Jesus existed, but which parts of the gospel actually were accurate, I don't know.
So you don't believe in the Gospels? You don't? Do you not believe Jesus? What do you think it means to be the Christ?
So I think he was, but I can't be sure. I wasn't there.
But you're a Christian. A Christian is supposed to profess that Jesus is the Christ.
Yes, so I think he is. Like it says he did not rise from the dead. I think in the story he did, and if I believe the story to be true, I believe he did.
I think you're completely lost. So, do the Gospels make the claim that Jesus was the Christ? Yes or no?
Yes, he's the Christ. He rose from the dead in the
Okay.
Gospels.
What does it mean to be the Christ in the culture that Jesus was from?
Yeah, so in these gospels, it means he's the Messiah.
Okay, what does it mean to be the Messiah? How do you tell if someone's the Messiah or not?
So it would be the chosen one.
Sure, that's
Yeah,
just another synonym. How do you tell if someone is that person?
yeah, yeah.
What's the
Is it one
criteria?
chosen for a specific purpose?
Yeah, what's the criteria? How can you tell the difference between someone who's just claiming to be the Messiah versus someone who is like a false prophet?
Be it the one who did the things that the Messiah is supposed to do, I suppose.
Ah, did Jesus do the things the Messiah was supposed to do?
According to the Gospels, he did.
Well, the Gospels are wrong, though, aren't they? They misquote the Hebrew Bible in order to make Jesus appear as if he fulfilled prophecy.
I see what you're saying now. Yeah. So one or the other, or both have to be untrue. No?
Well, at the very least, the New Testament is not true. I also agree that the Old Testament is not true. But if you were to believe the words of the prophets, then Jesus definitely could not be the Messiah.
All right. Well, thanks, sir.
Is that it?
Yeah, I don't really have a response to that right now. I'll kind of look into it more.
Okay. Well, you have a wonderful day, Luke.
Thank you.
That was odd.
I only got half of that because I asked Elias to pick some stuff up from the store.
All right. Well, we already got some super chats. So from @SirGameALot, an OG on the channel, with the $1.99 says, "Praise the Dark Lord." Is that who I am? Is that referring to me? All right. Well, SirGameALot. Yeah, sure. Why not? And @Narrative Dude, with the $19.99, Dalton, a contribution to help you continue the grand non-God work. May your night be reasonably free of trolls. Well, I guess we'll see if that is indeed the case. I'm just going to assume Luke was a real Christian. He seemed a bit confused, though. But he's back. So maybe he's got a...
Also, make sure in YouTube you go up there and you hit that. Oop, as I'm flinging things, that like button above you. Go hit it, or wherever it is on your screen. Make sure if you're in TikTok, you're reposting like I just did. You're tapping that screen. You're sending the daily heart me if you can, and you're doing all the things. Just tap the screen. Tap, tap, tap.
Yeah, so I've got like a new desk coming in the mail today, everybody. And then tomorrow I have a second desktop because this might look nice and clean and whatnot, nice and clean, but this desktop gets hella cluttered when you're running OBS and TikTok and YouTube and the super chats, and at the same time it's crazy. Like Justin was like, "Hey, you should definitely think about getting a second screen." And in my head I was like, I think I'll be fine. This is a really wide screen. I was not. I had no idea what I was actually getting myself into. Lexi says, hella confused. LMFAO referencing the Bible to stories just proved the point that it's being proven. Yeah, that is. Someone said, is the host a mythicist? Not currently, but I'm investigating the claim of mythicism right now. Anyways, yeah, Christian referring to the Gospels as stories is a bit strange. I mean, if you're a Christian, you should believe that the Gospels are true, right? And @RM12500 with the $2 says, Merry Winter Solstice, Yule, and Saturnalia, bro. We're not quite there yet. Listen, I'm not one of those people that starts celebrating Christmas like in November. Like, I wait until December 1st before I'm in the holiday mood. I'm thinking about is like the turkey that I'll be eating this Thursday. Maxwell says, do I still what, Maxwell?
Wait. Someone says, Luke Skyrunner says, at the Bible Guide, do you know anyone who does haikus? Is this haiku? Is that haiku?
Was it?
Is that haiku? We have a friend named Haiku that
It is.
it is Haiku.
You son of a bitch. You totally got me. Oh my gosh. Guys, Haiku is a friend of mine in Ashlands, and we actually met him in person this time last year. And he gave me a bunch of like these wonderful books on my shelf. That was crazy. I I had no idea. That was such a good con. Damn, Haiku.
I love how I got it.
Yeah, you're good. You caught, because I would have read that and been like, I don't even know how to do a haiku. I learned in the 6th grade.
Yeah, that's because haiku. I'm the only one that reads your haikus. Where I was, I don't see your haikus on my feed anymore, but I used to, and I read your haikus. They were beautiful.
At Techman2 with the $20 says, "Welcome to YouTube, long-term follower. Here's a little something to help you keep up the great work, Techman. I appreciate that." And look, here's a super chat that I'm really looking forward to answering. At Declan James, classic with the $2 at classic question: Sam or Dean? Here's the thing. I know when it comes to between Sam and Dean Winchester, my favorite Winchester is Dean Winchester. Dean is
Is this a supernatural thing?
This is supernatural, yes.
I love that I knew that. Like I'd never seen it, but I knew that.
Dean is my favorite of the two boys because he feels things very deeply, more so than Sam, I think. He's very like a very sensitive man, even if he doesn't like to show it sometimes. And I like that character trait in Dean, that he just cares a lot. Grumpy Butterfly says, "I was totally lost." Yeah, no. We're talking about Supernatural. I'm a huge Supernatural nerd. So listen, if you're a Supernatural nerd too, make sure you are tapping that screen, sharing the live out, and liking the YouTube video and sharing that out as well, so we can get some more conversations.
While we're waiting, yeah, we don't have any guests. So there is an announcement for the Bible Guide Discord. What I think I'm going to do is, because I'm going to host the server eventually, but right now I just made the Discord, is I'm going to accept applications from like 50 to 100 people, because I've never ran one before. And the major thing is, if you're going to like DM me, you got to find me on TikTok or DM Dalton. And we're not going to do like crazy, because I don't want to go overboard, because I've not ran one, but I'm looking for mods. So anyone that signs up is going to be in contention for becoming a mod. So yeah, if anyone is interested in that, send a DM to Dalton on YouTube, or if you're on TikTok though, find me. And I'll be looking for message requests, and I'll be looking out for that. And just let me know, and I can send an invite link. And if anyone is familiar and has modded on Discord, awesome. Just let me know. Say, hey, I've modded on Discord before. Any friends of mine, you get like first pick with everything, just because I know and trust you. And friends of friends, obviously. Haiku.
Yeah. The big part of the Discord is going to be about the democratization of information. So like there's a lot of great scholarship out there on the web that is available for everyone and all peoples, and I want people to be able to have access to that scholarship on the Bible, to make you all smarter and to make us all more apt to have these conversations with our fellow Americans or fellow persons who are religious. Maxwell in the comment section says, "I know who you are. Why aren't you reading my messages?"
That's weird. Just ignore them. Yeah. The benefit, the perk of getting first into the Discord server is going to be the fact that you will have first access to the Google Docs, which isn't finished, but it already has hours and hours of like free content approved by the Bible Guy. It's just a Google Doc, and I've gone through and shown all the resources, the free resources, and then we're going to continue to add to it. So you'll get that for free. Eventually, that's probably going to wind up in like a membership area. So if you do come first, it's already free because it's just not built all the way. But yeah, so if you're interested, DM me or the Bible Guy on YouTube.
So we got another. Someone said, "Okay, we got another super chat from @SirGameALot again, with the $4.99 saying, "What kind of Bible would you recommend for reading through the Old Testament? For specifically reading through the Old Testament, I would suggest the New Jewish Publication Society translation." Because if you're going to be reading the Hebrew Bible, aka the Old Testament, the best source is going to be a Jewish source because they know the Hebrew Bible better than a Christian source does. And if you really want, again, more information on the text of the Old Testament, like what it says, then I suggest the Hermeneia Bible Commentary series. @Seek Truth Delve Deep, love that name, with the $10 says, "Thank you, Dalton. Cheers." Cheers to you too. I like that word, cheers. I like it. I've been watching a lot of content from British people, and I love a lot of their slang. Good shit. Again with @Declan James with the $2 saying, "Great answer. Better question. Bobby or Castiel?" There's another supernatural question. So between Bobby and Castiel, I mean, I'm gonna have to go with Castiel, the angel of Thursday, and also maybe Dean's soulmate. If you know, you know. But I love Castiel too because of his connection with Dean. Bobby's great too, though. Who doesn't love a good surrogate father? And finally, @Ms. Pickles with the $4.99 saying, "We need a lore drop from Dalton. Would love a Q&A session." Well, I'll tell you this. I'll give you a little lore drop. And this is something that a lot of people do know about me, is that in my time studying the Bible, I have been an individual who has practiced Protestant Christianity, Catholic Christianity, and Orthodox Judaism before my atheism. So there you go. I've got a big history with religion that helps to sort of give me a unique perspective on the Bible.
Oh, and someone in the comments said they don't have. I forgot the YouTube people generally don't have TikTok. Yeah, our Discord names are the Bible Guy 96 to send those DMs to, or myself, Ashland 94. Yeah, if you need if you're a Discord person, that's also okay.
Maxwell, you've been talking a lot in the comment section, but you're more than welcome to call in and have a conversation with me. But we have another guest right now, Randall with 2 L's. Randall with 2 L's. Okay. Randall, I'm going to ask you the same 3 questions I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
I didn't mean to come up. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. No problem. You have a good day.
Thank you.
That's the first time I've ever met a Randall outside of Monsters Incorporated.
Where are the Christians?
I don't know, but there's only 72 people in here, which is weird. So, everyone, if you will, just make sure you keep tapping that screen and share the live out. Tell your friends to come and watch the Bible Guy. Oh, thank you for the heart. I wonder if maybe like a huge portion of my TikTok crew.
Ian is in live.
Oh, yeah. Ian.
And Joel Read the Bible and Born Again, I think, are live. And Dean.
Holy hell, well, that explains a lot. I've got to listen. I am yet to really set a schedule for the Bible Guy channel. Right now, it's sort of like 5 p.m. Tuesdays and Thursdays and 2:30 after the Unapologetic Live. But I really need to find out like the schedules of all my constituents and sort of like move my schedule around in accordance when they're not live. It's the best thing to do. At Michael Howard 2636 with the $10 says, just think the God in Supernatural is probably the closest way God in the Bible acts. You know what, Michael, this is my perspective, actually. I think that the way that God is portrayed in the show Supernatural is probably the most accurate depiction of Yahweh in any media whatsoever. In that show Supernatural, God is corporeal. He has got a body, and he's a huge dick. So we got Hooper here. Hooper, I think we've definitely spoken with you before, I believe. And just to get a reminder for ourselves, are you at least 18 years old? They're still loading in. Oh no, you were tapping. Okay, I see.
Yeah, Hooper's a friendly.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Their name shows up a lot, so I was pretty sure there was a friendly. You're good, Hooper, no problem. Now, someone has recently suggested to me that, by the way, since we're not getting opposition right now, if you're a friendly and you want to come up and talk to me about something, feel free to get in the box and come up until we get some opposition. But someone recently said that I should start a, a wish list on Amazon. I might do that. I don't know what that is or how that works, but I'll be looking into it. So
I can help you with that. It's super easy. But yeah, you can put books on there. Maybe if you need gear or something like that. I mean, realistically, pretty much anything that you could want would be on Amazon.
It would probably be stuff for the channel. If I'm going to put a wish list for the Bible guy, it would be stuff specifically for the channel.
That's the point. Books or gear, like gear for that. That's generally what people do when they do Amazon wish lists. All
right. Well, we got someone coming up. Joe Feces. Love that name. And Zelfie in the comment section says, I have met God. He is real. So sad you think that he's not what he is. I mean, no, Zephy, I don't think you believe that God is what the Bible says he is. That's the problem. Joe Feces, I'm going to ask you the same 3 questions I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18?
Yes.
Question number 2, atheist or theist?
I'm 33.
What was that? You
Atheist.
Atheist? Okay, you sound very, very faint, and it's hard.
They've got 1 bar, Dalton. That's why their connection is not great.
Yeah, but you have a lot of background music.
My connection's bad. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I think I might be able to hear you better now. What are your pronouns?
You can drop.
Oh, okay. That's fine. Well, thank you for coming up, Joe Feces.
He, him.
Oh, okay. There was a little bit of a lag, too, I think is what happened there. But, Joe, thank you for coming up. We do have, I think, an opposition, though, now, by the name of Praise Christ. Thank you for the turkey head. I feel well cooked and stuffed, which I love to be stuffed. Anyways, Praise Christ. I'm going to ask you the same 3 questions I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18?
Yeah, I'm 22.
Question number 2, atheist or theist?
I don't know what theist means.
A believer in God.
I know I'm not an atheist. Yeah, I'm theist.
Christian?
No, I don't like to.
You're a follower of Christ.
Yes.
So Christian. So question number 3, what are your pronouns?
I'm a man.
Okay, but what are your pronouns?
I'm a him.
Okay. Praise Christ, he, him. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy, an atheist who loves to talk about the Bible. Which one of the 6 points above my head would you like to discuss with me?
I want to see how you say, do you think the Bible says Jesus rose from the dead or no?
Yeah, the Bible says that. I don't think it's true, though.
Okay. Well, then that's all I wanted to understand from you, because obviously.
But why should I think Jesus rose from the dead?
because all of his followers and how he changed people's lives dramatically. But 'cause I
So
used
you,
to be
you think that a religion being able to change someone's life is proof that the religion is true?
100%.
So what about the fact that we have Muslims, for example, who convert to Islam and they have their lives changed? Does that mean that Islam is true?
They still get taught in Islam that it's okay to hurt people even if they're hurting you.
But it changes
That's
them.
no, it doesn't change them any
Yeah, it does.
bit.
I know for a fact that I've heard men who were alcoholics claim that they stopped being abusive alcoholics after they converted to Islam, and that their life changed for the better. So does that mean Islam is true?
That's not what I'm talking about, sir. What I'm
So
talking about is I used to want to hurt people and rob people and do evil to other people.
That doesn't.
is whose
Islam,
background is that?
hold on.
No, I'm just no. There's
music?
a lot of back. Yeah,
Yeah,
Him.
there's music.
my sister. Let me close the door for you.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, praise Christ. All that tells me really is that there are people who genuinely believe in the religion and they change their attitude and their behaviors in accordance with what they believe. It doesn't tell me that what they believe is actually true.
Exactly. According to what they believe, and Muhammad teaches that it's okay to kill people. He teaches that.
Have you read the Bible?
100%. What did Christ say?
Well, do you think
What did he
Jesus was
say?
God?
Yes.
Did
He's the Word of God. He
did
claimed to
God
be
did
God.
did God ever tell the Israelites to murder the Amalekites, even the children?
I don't know what God told him that.
The God of the Bible. I thought you read the Bible.
I'm saying, did Moses, was he allowed in the promised land? Yes or no?
That's not. It's irrelevant to what I just asked. I asked you
No,
whether or not the
it's
God
not
of the
relevant.
Bible commands the Israelites to ever murder people, like babies.
Listen, it's not irrelevant because we know, I don't know what God is saying that.
The
That's
God,
probably
the God of the Bible said it. Are you? I thought you said you read
That's
the
not
Bible.
true because
Here,
Jesus.
we'll
let me
read the
show you what
Bible
Jesus
then.
said.
1 Samuel chapter 15
No, let's
says.
go to what Jesus said. Let's
No,
go to what
you think
Jesus said.
you think that Jesus is God, right?
Yes, we follow Jesus.
Okay,
We
okay.
don't
Then I'm about
follow
to
no-
then I'm about to tell you what the God of the Old Testament said. And Samuel said to Saul, "The Lord sent me to anoint you king over his people Israel. Now therefore, hearken to the words of the Lord. Thus says the Lord of hosts: I will punish thee what Amalek did to Israel in opposing them on the way when they came out of Egypt. Now go and smite Amalek, and utterly destroy all that they have. Do not spare them, but kill both man and woman, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and ass." So,
Okay.
if Jesus
so
is
in
God,
other
then he
words,
commanded the Israelites
that's
to
God's
murder all the
judgment.
Amalekites.
That's God's judgment. So
So,
that doesn't make anything wrong because God
well,
decided that
a Muslim's just going to tell you the same thing. When Muhammad says that you're allowed to go out and perform and do violence against individuals, that's just God's decree. It's no different than the Israelites.
Now let's see what Jesus said. Shall we go?
I thought you thought Jesus
'Cause I
was
don't
God.
I don't like when people like to cherry pick around and go to the Old Testament when we're under a new covenant.
I don't like when Christians cherry pick and they only like to go to the New
not.
New Testament. You already said
Well,
that.
that's because we're under a new covenant.
Doesn't matter. You thought
So
you
what are you
said that
talking
Jesus
about?
was God, right? So God did command the Israelites to kill the Amalekites.
Let me ask you, what was the last command that Jesus gave?
The last
Do you
one
know?
depends on which gospel
Yeah.
you're reading.
I'm saying, what was the last command that Jesus gave? Did he say we can go kill people, or did he say love your enemies?
That was neither of those are the last commandment that Jesus gave in any of the
No,
four
no.
gospels.
What I'm saying is the last of the commands in the new covenant.
Neither of
He
those.
observed. Okay, now I'm about
Thank
to,
you
I'm
for
about
the
to read
turkey.
to you to show
The-
you that you're lying.
At the very end, you saying that at the very end of the gospel, the last thing that Jesus
I'm saying
commands
in
is
the
one of
new
those
covenant.
things?
The new covenant, sir.
Okay, but you
Let me
said
read to
last.
you
You
what
said last specifically. So, did
What I
you
meant
not
by
actually
that
mean
is
that?
the new covenant. That's
Okay,
what I meant by that.
yeah, Jesus said according to the in the New Testament, he said that you should obey the law of Moses, right?
No,
He didn't.
no. Let me show you.
Whoa. Okay. Hey,
I'm about to show
can you
you
turn?
right now.
Can you
Hold on,
turn?
hold on,
Can
hold
you
on,
turn
hold
to
on.
Matt?
Let me
Can you
read
turn?
to you my scripture.
Yeah. Can you turn
Let
to?
me read to you
Yeah.
my
Can you
scripture
read?
before we get to go to your
Can you turn to
scripture?
Matthew
That's
chapter
not fair.
5 for us, please?
I'm at Matthew chapter 5. I'm about to read to you. You
Yeah,
have heard
read-
that it has been
read-
said, eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. But I say unto you
Uh huh.
that you resist not evil, but whosoever shall smite thee on your right cheek, turn to him also.
What did Jesus
You have
say in
heard that it
Matthew
has
5,
been
17
said.
through
Hold on,
19?
hold on. I'm not done, man. You have heard that it has been said, "You shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy."
Uh-huh.
But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them that despitefully use you and persecute you.
Yeah,
So is
what did
that
Jesus
bad?
say in Matthew 5, 17 through
Hold on, hold
19?
on. You answer my question, then I'm gonna go answer your question. Because we can't just be picking and choosing whose questions we want to answer now.
Oh, I agree.
Okay, then. So is that bad to follow those, or is that good?
Depends on context. Sometimes it's not good to just
depends on context.
Sometimes
Let me read to you again.
okay. Sometimes it's not good just to submit to your enemies. That would be bad. Should the Jews in the Holocaust have submitted, turned the other cheek when the SS soldiers were attempting to exterminate them? Should they have done that? Is that good? Would that have been good?
Yeah, they should have followed the Christ commands.
They should have let the Nazi
let me
soldiers kill them, is what you're saying. I just want to be
You actually
clear.
heard what
I just want to be
Hitler's-
clear that what you're saying is that the Jews in the Holocaust should have allowed the Nazis to kill them. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying, for people like you, they think this is the best.
No.
thing they're gonna-
Answer my question. I answered your question. Now
Right.
you have to answer mine. Just to be clear, again, I'll ask the question one more time. Should
told you 100%.
should the Jews of the Holocaust have willingly let the Nazis kill them?
100%.
Fuck me, dude. You listen. This is why your religion's such.
commanded
This
us.
is why your religion's such horseshit, and also why you haven't really thought through the ethics of the Bible. Because
no.
you
I
think
thought
that everything
through.
is
You
like
haven't.
that when Jesus says turn the other cheek, that you mean that this you should just use this universally, and it
Can
leads
we-
to you believing
Can
that
we get some POSFF? in
yeah,
the
it gets
chats?
POSFFs in the comment section, everyone, for this piece of shit fuckface. No, the Jewish people should not have submitted themselves to the Nazis in the Holocaust. That would be the wrong thing to do.
Listen, the wrong thing that was done was Hitler, because what did he say in his speech?
It doesn't
He
matter
was
because
telling
your
them that
world
God-
system, your
He didn't even do it
worldview,
right.
your worldview propagates violence against the less fortunate.
Not true.
Yes, it
What did I
does.
just read to you?
Yes, it
Now I'm about to
does,
read
because
to you
you've
the
already
scriptures
said,
again, what I
you've
believe,
already
because
said,
you
okay,
lied.
let's make it modern day. Let's say you are an American citizen, okay, and all of a sudden, a big black van pulls up, and a bunch of men in like police uniforms, but they're not police, show up, and they want to like kidnap you. What should you do? You should let them take
If they
you.
want to kidnap me, I'm gonna pray, and if they take me, oh well.
Then it's exactly the problem with your world is that, oh my God, is that your worldview propagates the oppression of the less fortunate. That's not a good system to live by. So no, I absolutely reject this
That's not the
teaching.
truth. I can show you where Christ says we need to help people.
I don't care what
This is why
Jesus. I
you're
don't.
lying.
I don't care
You're
what
lying.
Jesus said, because what Jesus said leads to the oppression of the less fortunate.
No, that's not true.
Yes,
Okay,
it
so
is
this
true.
leads to the oppression
Because
of
according
less
to your
fortunate?
worldview, it's
Hold on,
okay.
let me
It's
read you
it's okay
something.
for American citizens to get snatched up by ICE soldiers, and it's okay for Jews to get murdered by Nazis. Like they should do that.
Oh, you're manipulating what I'm saying.
No,
It's
you
not okay
No,
because
you
Christ
said
said
100%. Did you
doing
not say?
stuff like that.
Did you not say 100% that Jews should have let themselves be killed by the Nazis?
What I'm saying is the people who are claiming to do
Did
work
you not
for
say
God,
that?
which was
You
Hitler,
say it, yes or
he should
no?
have never even been doing that in the
Dude, did you not say
guys are
one?
manipulators. just
Did
like
you not say 100% that the Nazis should have let that the Jews should have let the Nazis kill them? Yes or no?
according to the teachings of Christ? Yes. So let me tell you why.
Then you're a piece of shit.
Oh, that was disgusting. And that needs to be clipped. Make sure you write that down.
Oh yeah, I can start doing that. 1 second. Where do I write?
Yeah,
this
I would
shit?
get an Excel, Dalton. You need to start an Excel.
Yeah, that was wild.
Do you want me to? You want me to start an Excel, Dalton?
Yeah, go ahead and do that, and I'll
I got you.
Anyways, before we move on to the next guest, oh my gosh, we're gonna read some super chats.
Wait, what was his name?
His name was something Christ. He was the first.
I'll just put. Yeah, I'll put.
Praise Christ. His name was Praise Christ. We're going to open up a super chat real quick before we move on to the next guest. At House 70 with a $6.66. Hail Nero. Happy Thanksgiving, Dalton. And just FYI, the video is still freezing occasionally on YouTube. Audio is smooth. All the best. We will work on getting that fixed. I don't know what. That's probably just due to my internet. So, hey, everyone, if you want to see me get better internet, donate to either PayPal or the Cash App, and I'll start saving up to move out and get some better internet. All right, so we're gonna move on to the next guest, which is Ricky Tillman 5. Ricky Tillman 5. I'm gonna ask the same 3 questions I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1: are you at least 18 years old?
Yes, I am.
Question number 2: atheist or theist?
Atheist.
Atheist. Oh, okay. And question number 3: what are your pronouns?
He, him.
He, him. Ricky, he, him. I'm Dalton the Bible Guy. What brings you up to the live?
I just wanted to talk about how flimsy the historicity of Jesus actually is, like to really put it into perspective. So first off, we have our 4 gospel accounts. Mark traditionally, we're just going off Christian tradition.
I do have to. So you are, because you are friendly. This can't go on for too long because I do have another guest.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just wanted, like, real quick, like what you wanted to, like, just put out there before we move on to like opposition.
Okay. So
Ricky?
Traditionally written by John Mark, who is a follower of Paul or a disciple of Paul. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Sorry, you cut out there for a second. You're just saying that, like, we don't know who wrote the gospel the authors.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we don't know who wrote the authors of we don't know who wrote the gospels, right? Is what you're saying?
No, not necessarily. I'm saying even if we go with Christian tradition, it's super flimsy. So, Mark is traditionally written by John Mark, who's a disciple of Paul. So he's not a witness to any of Jesus's life. Luke, self-proclaimed, is not a witness to any of Jesus's life. He later came and interviewed, according to Christian tradition. Matthew is supposed to be Jesus's disciple, Levi, but the problem with Matthew's gospel is it gives a birth narrative, and it also goes all the way through to the crucifixion, and at no point does it switch from third person to first person. So, and the anachronisms in the Gospel of Matthew make it very unlikely that the person was from first century Judea. Then we have John's Gospel, which is written,
Thank you for the panda.
so much later that it's very unlikely that a person would have lived to be the age that John would have had to have been to write these things.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Although, I mean, listen, when it comes to, like, the historicity of Jesus topic, I am currently reading through Dr. Richard Carrier's book on the historicity of Jesus, and I'm going to be given, like, a official, like proclamation from the Bible Guy probably around summertime as to what position I'm going to hold to in regards to the mythicist position. But some versions of it I find more credible than others. But I don't want to bore my atheist audience with, like, just talking to, like, fellow atheists when there are other Christians who might want to come up and debate.
Yeah.
Not that you're boring. It's just they come here for
Bloodsport.
Yeah, thank you. Exactly what I was thinking.
Can I make one more point real quick?
Sure.
A fallacy that I've fallen to is I was willing to concede that there was better historical evidence for Jesus than there was for Julius Caesar. Actually, I made that proclamation, but I've since changed my mind on that because while we don't have the original manuscripts for anything written about Julius Caesar, we also don't have that for Jesus. But what we do have is people writing during the time of Caesar's lifetime. We have primary sources. Caesar himself wrote about himself. We have Crispus, we have Cicero, And then we also have secondary sources. Plutarch and Suetonius both wrote about Caesar about 150 years after his life, which is comparable to like the gospel writings.
Yeah, I agree. It's a common myth that apologists like to bring up that Jesus is better attested to than other historical figures from the time. But yeah, it's just a myth. Like, we know we have better reasons to believe that Tiberius Caesar existed than Jesus of Nazareth. But hey, Ricky, thank you for coming up.
Do you mind if I stay up and debate a little too?
Oh no, I only let my my co-hosts stay up with me. I don't usually have like a panel of like atheist stuff. But hey, thank you for coming up, Ricky.
All right, man. You have a good day.
Yeah, the claim that the Jesus was the most well attested to person in all of history is crazy, especially when history, the term history would include people like George Washington, who we definitely know more about than Jesus of Nazareth. Now, if someone wanted to say ancient history, that we know more about Jesus Christ than any person in ancient history, then that's also not true. Like, we have statues of Herod the Great from the time of King Herod. We don't have that for Jesus of Nazareth. We don't get any images of him of any kind for well over 100 years. And when it comes to the Gospels, they're not really all that reliable in regards to like telling us almost anything about the historical Jesus of Nazareth, if there was a historical Jesus of Nazareth. But everyone, make sure you're tapping that screen and sharing the live with those you love and with those you hate, and with that one annoying uncle who you know you're going to be seeing this Thanksgiving. Yeah, I know. But hey, you can tell him to go and watch The Bible Guy, and maybe we can teach him a thing or two. But what about Julius Caesar? Yeah, I mean, we have when it comes to at least Julius Caesar, we have the writings of Plutarch, who he got his information from, and from Ptolemy, who was actually Alexander's general. This is much better than what we have for the Gospels, where it's like anonymous works from unknown persons who weren't even eyewitnesses to Jesus. Judgmental Cat says, "Hi, I'm here because of people liking the live. It showed up on my For You page. Look, guys, the fruit of your works is here." Also, everyone, don't we just love Ashlyn's headgear today?
Oh, poor YouTube can't see it because you've got to get that done. I have devil horns on. Actually, I need to tighten this so it stays up. Sorry, I'm working on stuff while I'm doing this while we're waiting.
At Optimus Rhyme 6955 with the $1.99 saying, grossest caller I've ever seen you talk to. Def a baby paster. Absolutely. That first guest definitely would have been A-okay with baby paste. I mean, he really thought that the Jewish people should have just laid down and taken it from the Nazis, which is crazy. It's a crazy position to hold to. But when you believe that universally everyone should turn the other cheek, that's just the logical end point of that belief. Completely wild. Ghost Stalker Gaming. I love this topic, but I could never debate. I never would be able to be so patient with a piece of shit fuckface. I'm so glad I learned that term. By the way, I only just now learned the term POSFF from Ashland, and I
might have had to tell him.
I love it.
Because Dalton is so busy reading and learning that he doesn't visit other people's streams enough.
Now we have landlocked sailor Mike is our next guest. Sailor Mike, I'm going to ask you the same 3 questions that I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are, before we can continue with the conversation. Question number 1, are you at least 18?
Yes.
Question number 2, atheist or theist?
I'm agnostic, leaning towards atheist.
All right. And then question number 3, what are your pronouns?
He, him.
All right. Mike, let's see if we can get you over that hump and get you over into the atheist camp. Which one of these 6 topics did you want to come up and discuss with me?
Can I expand and go off topic?
You know what? Sure, because I don't have any opposition right now. That's fine. Whatever helps to help you deconstruct.
So I'm listening to Jaron and Christ before Jesus, and he believes that Jesus and Paul never existed. And your name came up actually on his live today as someone that believes that Jesus did exist as a person. And I was wondering if you could just kind of walk me through why you believe that. And I think you know him, and why you have that belief that he was a person, and that he did actually exist, Jesus and Paul.
Yeah, I'm friends with Jaron. Lovely fella. So in regards to the Jesus like being a historical person thing, for me right now it's literally 50-50. It could go either way. It's not like I hold more to a historical Jesus than to a mythicist Jesus. I'm literally on the fence when it comes to that topic. I just assume it for the sake of these conversations. Now, when it comes to the mythicist proposition, I find that the minimal mythicist view is probably the most likely version of mythicism to be true, which is the idea that if Jesus was a myth, that the apostles did exist, but that they hallucinated a celestial figure known as Jesus. But right now, I'm still investigating whether or not I really hold to the mythicist position as opposed to historicity. But like I said, I'm like 50-50. I just assume Jesus was a historical person for the sake of these conversations.
Totally understood. So you do believe that the apostles existed, that the 12.
Yeah, so I hold that the work of First Clement is a first century text, and in fact I hold to that it's probably written before the destruction of the Second Temple, and in that work, Clement does talk about the recent deaths of Peter and Paul, which, if the text was written just prior to the Second Temple, would have placed their death within a 10-year period from the writing of the text. So yeah, I hold to the historicity of the apostles.
Gotcha. And I think that's where the disagreement comes. I think that Jaron believes that that Clement was written in the 95 or later in the first century.
Yeah, that actually is like the most prominent version of the consensus of the dating. There are just certain things within the text that make it hard for me to believe that it was written after the destruction of the temple, mostly due to the way in which the author refers to the temple in the present tense, as if its systems are still like running.
Gotcha. I very much appreciate it. I'll let opposition come up now, and thanks for that clarification.
All right. Have a good day. All right. We're going to bring up, I think it's an opposition. We got Quinn Alexander, Gospel Vibes. Quinn, I'm going to ask you the same 3 questions I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes, I'm 34 years old.
All right, I'm going to need you to be a little, get closer to the mic or speak up a little bit. Question number 2, atheist or theist?
Theist meaning for God, right?
Yeah.
Just want to clarify. Yeah.
And then last question, what are your pronouns?
What am I?
Yeah, do you go by he, him, she, her, or they, them?
Oh, I don't know honestly, or to clarify my.
When if someone didn't want to say Quinn went to the store, would they say he went to the store, she went to the store, or they went to the store?
Well, like to say he went to the store, yeah.
All right. Quinn, he, him. I'm Dalton the Bible Guy, an atheist who likes to talk about the Bible. Which one of the 6 points above my head would you like to discuss with us today?
It's a lot. I do believe that the last claim, the Bible is not a good source for morals. And I also, most of it, honestly.
So pick one of these 6 topics.
Let's go with the morals.
All right.
Moral. Yeah.
I have a question for you. Do you think it's moral to, for example, stone an innocent woman, an innocent woman, just because she didn't bleed the first time she had sex?
she didn't believe the first time she had sex.
She didn't bleed.
Bleed.
Yeah.
I would say no.
Does the Bible prescribe such an act, such a punishment?
Honestly, I never read that before.
So
probably had a 7-minute text.
Are you familiar with what's called the Torah of Moses or the Pentateuch?
Yeah, the first 5 books of the Bible.
Mm-hmm. In the book of Deuteronomy, there is a declaration from God to the people of Israel that if a man lays with a woman, and the first night they lay together, she does not bleed upon the marriage cloth, and he presents that evidence to her parents that she did not bleed, then she will be stoned to death.
Yeah, well, that sounds like if you have sex with somebody who deceive you to be a virgin and she doesn't bleed upon the first time you have sex with her, that she should be stoned at that time, only because those times the rules were a little more harshly. Like when somebody lied upon the church, they would be
but Quinn,
put to death, like God literally put them to death.
But Quinn, you realize that not all women bleed their first time, right?
I didn't know that.
This is true. Ashlyn, what percentage of women is it that don't bleed their first time?
The evidence seems to be around the 50% mark. There's many different reasons why the hymen may quote unquote break prior to this. If they play sports, ride a horse, a lot of different reasons, or sometimes it just isn't, they don't have the anatomy to do such. So yeah, God doesn't seem to understand women's anatomy, and it's just not fair to women in general. I don't think that verse really portrays a God who is egalitarian for sure.
Well, when you say God, you mean God of the Bible. Just to clarify that. But secondly, I think that the people that were living back then, they had, I wouldn't say a different autonomy, but they had a little more resistance.
No evidence of that. We really haven't in 6,000 years not 6,000, even within a couple 100,000 years actually, really evolved in the past 2 to 300,000. Is there's minor things, but there's no evidence.
But persons back then used to live longer than we are, though.
No, they didn't. In fact, our lifespans have remained the same. Where
can you
our
prove that persons back then?
We can because
prove that?
we do because we can tell by developing bones, and then there are averages, there are records.
Ashlyn is answering your question, Quinn.
Yeah, I'm literally trying to explain this to you. So our lifespan
by the way, to explain it though.
Our lifespan is the same because we have there's actually 5 different theories on aging, telomeres, things like that. But our lifespan, there's only so long that a human can live before the natural processes start to degrade. But our life expectancies have changed, and the reason for that is because it's just math statistically that when you have a higher proportion of young people dying, you're going to have that average shift. So it's once you made it past childhood, as far as I'm aware, you actually were generally going to live decently long. We also have had massive advancements in medicine. So yeah, that's the more you know, but our span's the same.
If you'll allow me to say something.
Yes, now that she's done answering your question, you can talk.
No problem. Sorry for being rude. If I were to explain something biblically, you won't believe it, right?
Yeah, if you're going to tell me that someone lived for hundreds of years, that's going to be a myth.
Right. So what I'm saying is, can you, instead of explaining it to me and making it sound like if it's correct, can you show me something like an article that it is accurate? Like something that is reliable rather than just saying it to me. Because if I was to say the Bible says the 10 Commandments, so you wouldn't believe that, right?
Yeah, I'll have Ashlyn look up some.
Prove that to me, please.
I'll have Ashlyn look up some papers for you right now on how we're able to know the lifespans of historical persons. Now, again, that being said, this doesn't tell us whether or not it was right or wrong in the
We can tell
past.
from like if we have their bones or writings. You can actually determine a lot from bones on age.
Yeah, he just wants a source, like an article or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah. So, but even if people didn't live long enough back in the day or they lived longer, it doesn't matter. Either way, women who are innocent, who have not had sex and yet they do not bleed their first time, are going to be stoned to death according to the law of Moses.
Well, I would say that firstly, scientists goes off of evidence, right? So if they could experiment something and based on the evidence that they explored,
Do we have any
right,
evidence
they
that
will come to
do we have any
just
evidence
hold on
that
a second.
do we have
Let me just finish
do
it.
we have any evidence that women back in the day always bled their first time having sex? Do you have any evidence to corroborate that claim?
Right. So what I'm saying is I don't have any personal evidence, but I'm saying by you saying it's not true, then
Yeah,
we
no,
both going in circles
no.
because you are.
You made the claim. It's you need to substantiate it. All that we have are women now, and we have evidence.
I'm not
You made
making
the
a
claim.
claim.
Yeah, no, you did.
Okay,
But let
and
me
yet,
finish.
So
Right?
this is
and
how
yes,
this works, Quinn.
and here's you can go to Smithsonian Institute, Natural History, si.edu, Education, Teaching Resources, Written Bones. This will tell you how we know the age of individuals during this.
I'm
So
saying-
Smithsonian's an amazing resource, by the way.
Now, Quinn, we know for
What
a
I'm
fact
saying
that
is-
that women
what
today don't always
My-
bleed the first. This was different in the past. Then you are going to have to be the one to bring forth some evidence, and if you don't, then I'm not going to believe you. And your Bible supports the killing of innocent women.
Bro, I'm not making a claim.
Yes, you are.
I'm simply saying that it's a possible that
That's
could
a
be
claim.
a possibility.
That's a claim. Demonstrate that's
I'm not
possible.
making a claim. Okay, well, let me move on. Somebody else. I'm not making no claims, bro. I'm just saying
That
it's
was
a
a claim.
possibility.
When you
that-
claim that it's possible that female biology used to be different over 2,000 years ago, that's a claim.
Okay, well, we'll go with that. Yeah.
Would you like another
So-
example of how the Bible is not a good moral source?
Right, so I'm saying none of us could prove why that take place, right?
Why that took place is because of misogynistic men who wanted clean virgins for themselves, and they didn't understand how the human body worked, so they
Okay,
killed a
where's
lot
your
of innocent women. Well, no, that's the
Where's your
default.
proof?
That's the default. That the Bible was written by men is the default position until you can demonstrate that it was actually divinely ordained by God. And if so, then you have to ask yourself the question, why doesn't your God understand how human anatomy works?
Bro, that's a claim, bro. There's not evidence that is true.
No, that's the
No,
default position.
That's what I'm saying.
no,
We
Quinn,
basically arguing points that both
Quinn.
of us can prove.
Quinn, it
As-
is the case that
Oh, it
it
is the
wouldn't
case,
even
bro.
it wouldn't even matter. God doesn't seem to know anatomy, but the fact is that God still stoned women for not being
You can't say
virgins.
God. You have to say God of the Bible. You don't believe in God. You have to say God.
I
of
don't
the
I
Bible.
don't have to say God
anything
because
that
when we're
you-
talking about, I'm the Bible guy. When I talk about God, everyone is smart enough in the comments to know that I'm talking about Yahweh.
Yeah, we're gonna hold
Well-
your goddamn feet to the fire because this is a horrible verse. It's wrong to women. God's still stoning people, and God doesn't know anatomy. It's very, very clear.
Ashlyn, it's God of the Bible, damn feet to the fire.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so all
God
right.
of the
So
Bible, damn feet to the fire. Is that better?
can I say one thing?
Yeah.
What you did say
Right.
one thing just now.
One
thing.
My God.
My God of the Bible. But anyways,
My
what's
God
your
of-
next point?
My God of the Bible. What I'm saying is, right, you're saying that God don't know anatomy. Okay, we're referring to the God of the Bible.
Yes.
What does the Bible say?
Yeah,
What
yeah.
does the Bible say about creation? Can I finish, sir? What does the Bible say about creation? Right? God created who? man.
created man, which is
Right?
which is
So
weird.
I'm
The fact that he
saying
doesn't
God,
know, yeah,
God created man.
which makes it even weirder that God doesn't know that women don't always bleed the first time.
just
Why
want to
you all
say,
have
I
persons
just want to
coming
say,
up and they can't
Quinn, hold on.
be
You didn't say God of the Bible.
God of the
Quinn,
Bible? Why you all
thank you.
have persons coming up and you all don't
You're
allow
the
them
one
to
that
speak?
made a big deal out of this, so I'm just going to hold you to it too.
Right. So why don't you all have persons coming up and you're not allowing them to finish their points? So that
No, because
it doesn't
you
make
seem to
any
be
sense.
wanting to run away from the point, Quinn. Is that the fact
I'm
that
not running
the
away.
fact
I'm
that
trying
your
to
God
finish my
of the
point. That
Bible
who's
doesn't
stopping me?
know how women's bodies work, even though like sure, the Bible says that God created women. It's weird that he doesn't know how their bodies work.
Yeah. And then he'd stone him for it. Like that's really weird. Not a good look.
Did the God of the Bible kill men as well?
Yeah.
Like
Not for
him?
not for being not virgins. No.
Yeah.
He only-
Yeah,
Did he
men were
wait,
allowed to be whores in the
he
Bible.
said
They could
kill
take up
men
multiple
in
wives and
wait,
do whatever they wanted. But women, if they like them young, underage, by the way,
why you all keep
young
muting me?
virgins. Like if God was alive today, he'd straight to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. 110%.
Yeah.
Can I say something now?
Sure.
Bro. Y'all please stop cutting me off because I'm trying to be respectable and y'all not being respectable to me.
When you're running away from the conversation and you won't like respond to what we're saying, then yeah, I have to cut you off.
You're not allowing me to finish though. You keep cutting in between what I'm saying. How am I running away?
That's
If you
great coming
cutting
from
me
you,
off.
not letting me finish. So how does it feel? It doesn't feel good, does it? Yeah, you can go
I
ahead.
apologize for that.
There we go. Okay,
Didn't I?
yes, go ahead. No, you didn't. Now you did.
Oh my God. So
Bible.
God of the Bible. Thank you for clarifying that. Right? What I'm saying is God created human beings, meaning that he understands anatomy, right? I'm saying that men and women receive almost the same treatment in terms of, okay, you're on the bad side, you're on the bad side. Oh my gosh.
My God, Quinn, you have not read the Bible, have you? You've read the opening chapters of Genesis, and you just fucking
Did I say
stopped.
the same or did I say almost?
Not even
Hey,
almost.
No, not even close. Women were property, Quinn. Women were sellable, non-consenting beings. I mean, don't get me wrong. They were higher up property than slaves and children, but they were still property.
Mm-hmm. And what about the men? Men got away.
Yeah, men are never the property of women in the Bible. Women are always the property of men in the Bible.
Yeah. What do you think like the word for what is it? Husband is sometimes in older parts of the Bible. Quinn?
Husband.
What do you think the Hebrew word is?
Husband meaning like owner, leader.
Owner. Master. Husbandman,
you would say something.
You'll never see a woman referred to as the master of a man in the Hebrew Bible. No, women are not on equal level with men in the Hebrew Bible or the New Testament.
I would say this. I love this conversation, bro. But please stop cutting me off. I will hush and listen to you all speak, but please stop cutting me off.
I will talk as often as I want on my own live. Now,
I'm not saying you stop talking. I'm just saying, please. I'm not trying to disrespect nobody.
When you get around to answering my questions honestly, then we can have like a civil back and forth conversation. Now, Quinn, you've made the crazy claim that women and men are almost equal in the Bible. That's not true.
So, are they equal?
No, not even close.
All right. So, if they're not close, then we don't need to argue about that. That's.
And do you think that's good or bad?
Honestly, I didn't create human beings, so I don't know what's good or bad in terms of
You can make
if men should.
you can make a judgment on what the Bible says. You're a moral agent with a brain. You can think for yourself. When the Bible makes it very clear that women are the property of men, you as a moral agent are able to decide whether or not that is good or bad.
Right. So according to scripture, God created man first, and when man felt like he needed a helpmate, God created woman.
So is your argument that because the Bible positions women under men, that therefore it's good and you should do it?
Well, he also told men that women should not have.
My question to you was, if the Bible says that women should be subservient to men, that this is good.
Let him finish, because I feel like he's going to cook himself. Go ahead, finish what you were saying. God of the Bible, by the way. God of the Bible.
God of the Bible determines what is good and what is evil.
So, if Yahweh tells you to, let's say you are an Israelite living during the time of King Saul, and Yahweh tells the prophet to tell King Saul to tell you to go into this city of the Amalekites and to kill all the men and the women and the children and the infants upon the breasts of the mothers, are you doing it? Are you going to do it?
Yes, I will.
You will kill babies because Yahweh says so.
Again, can we get some POSFFs in the chat? POSFF. Piece of shit, fuck face. Another one.
If Yahweh tells you to take those babies and to grind them into baby paste, would you do it?
Bro, wherever God lead, I will follow.
And ladies and gentlemen, that's another example of a piece of shit fuckface for the night. Thank you, Quinn, for acknowledging and showing all the rest of us why the Bible... No, you don't get a last thing. Why the Bible leads you to become a horrible, morally corrupt individual. Well, there you go, guys. Justin wasn't live today, so I made sure to get you all baby paste. That is wild. And with at Tally Beck J5E with the $49.99 says, I hope you have a great holiday, but I also hope you continue to stream. Thanks for your work. We might go live for a little bit on Thanksgiving. We'll see how I'm feeling that day, guys. That was crazy. But we got another guest already in the line, Christianos apologist. Christianos apologist in the comment. I'm going to ask you the same three questions I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
How's it going, host?
Howdy. Are you at least 18 years old, Christianos?
Yes, I am.
Question number 2, atheist or theist?
Theist.
And question number 3, what are your pronouns?
He, him.
All right, Christianos. Christianos, he, him. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy, an atheist who likes to talk about the Bible. Which one of the 6 topics above my head would you like to discuss with me?
Jesus was not the Messiah.
Sure. I don't think Jesus is the Messiah because he didn't fulfill messianic prophecy. Thank you for the turkey.
And we're talking about biblical, right?
Yeah, he didn't fulfill messianic prophecies in the Hebrew Bible.
What messianic prophecies did he not fulfill?
He didn't bring peace to the world. He didn't build the third temple and reestablish the Levitical priesthood. He didn't bring in all the Jewish people from the foreign quarters of the world. And he didn't bring peace to the world. I think I already said peace to the world, but yeah, you get the point. He didn't do any of these things. Yeah. And the prophecies that are said to be prophetic of him aren't actually prophecies about him.
Okay. So out of all the ones that you mentioned, I only found one that was with an error. Where does the Hebrew Bible say that the Messiah would build the third temple?
Yeah, this is in Zechariah chapter 6, where he says, "Behold, the man whose name is the branch, he shall branch forth and build the temple of the Lord," which is why the prophet Ezekiel actually speaks about the third temple, gives the exact dimensions of it, talks about the kind of sacrifices that would be performed in it. And even Jeremiah said that specifically the Levitical priesthood would last forever.
Yeah. So, host, does in Zechariah, does it say that the Mashiach ben David or Mashiach ben Yosef would build the temple?
Those are post-biblical. Well, Mashiach ben Yosef is a post-biblical innovation.
Yeah. So, but does it say that the son of David or the Messiah would build the temple?
Oh, no, it says the branch
In
would
the-
build the temple, and the branch is pretty much well understood to be the Messiah in every other instance. For example, read Jeremiah, where he's referred to as Zemach, the branch.
The branch of what, though?
Branch of David.
Okay, but if we're taking verbatim what Zechariah says, the branch would build the temple, the third temple. How do we know that that branch specifically is the branch of David?
Because it refers to him as the Zemach, and throughout the prophets, the Zemach is referred to as the Messiah, the descendant of David.
Sure, but it could be a branch that's coming from another lineage. Doesn't necessarily have to be the branch.
Sure.
Of
Who
David.
else is called Zemach in the Hebrew Bible?
Not anybody that I know of.
Just the son of David.
But I don't think verbatim it says that the Messiah would build the temple.
Well, of course, you're never going to see anything about the Messiah in the Hebrew Bible. The Hebrew Bible doesn't use the phrase HaMashiach, the Messiah, to refer to the future king of Israel. Never.
Yeah, it uses Mashiach can mean anointed, or in some instances it can mean the Messiah. It just depends on the context.
I mean, it never said. Well, yeah, it never refers to. Oh, thank you. Is that the soup? Thank you. Never refers to HaMashiach, the Messiah, in regards to the future king of Israel in the Hebrew Bible. Not once.
No, that you're correct on. It would mainly refer to Mashiach, which at times can mean anointed one.
But do you have any prophecies that Jesus did fulfill for why I should think he is the Messiah?
Prophecies. Let's see. Isaiah 53, which parallels Zechariah 12:10.
Isaiah 53 is not about the Messiah, though.
And who is it about?
Israel. Zechariah chapter 52, verse 13 tells us that this is the servant of Yahweh, and throughout the book, the section of 2nd Isaiah, the servant is referred to as the nation of Israel, or the righteous remnant of Israel.
Well, number one, I know a lot of Jewish, especially Orthodox Jews, they like to use this argument that since Isaiah previously is called servant, it automatically, the suffering servant is Israel, but there's many people who are called servant in Isaiah. Isaiah himself, David.
Well, Isaiah
Jacob.
himself is never referred to as the servant. The author of 2nd Isaiah is referred to as the servant, but the author of 2nd Isaiah is not the prophet Isaiah. But yeah, because the author of 2nd Isaiah is part of that righteous remnant of Israel.
David is called servant in Isaiah also, but you wouldn't say
But
that the
that's
suffering servant
but that's written by a different author. That's not 2nd Isaiah.
in Isaiah.
No,
It's in Isaiah. Yes, it
you
is.
understand that Isaiah didn't write the entire book of Isaiah, right?
Well, I didn't. Now that you told me, I didn't know that.
Isaiah chapters 1 through 39 was written by the historical prophet Isaiah during his lifetime, but chapters 40 onwards wasn't written by Isaiah. They were written at a different time by a different author. Specifically, the section of where Isaiah 53 and the servant songs are found is called 2nd Isaiah, and it's Isaiah chapters 40 through 55, and not once is David ever referred to as the servant in that text.
Nonetheless, it matters about the context of what this servant is spoken of, not that he's called the servant. Because in Isaiah, even there's one person, I can't remember his name, but there's many people who are called servant inside the book of Isaiah, regardless if it's...
Only two. The nation of Israel as a whole and the prophet who's writing 2nd Isaiah himself, but he's also a member of that righteous remnant of Israel.
Right. That's why I said, if we're taking the entire book of Isaiah, because I know you said that Isaiah only wrote, what was it, 30 and up? Is that what you said? So
Chapters 1 through verse 39. So chapters 1 through 39 has its own historical and literary context. Isaiah chapters 40 through 55 have their own historical and literary context. So if we want to know who the servant is, we have to read within the context of 2nd Isaiah and his historical literary context.
Right. So what I was getting at, thank you for correcting me there. So what I was saying, that throughout this whole book, in regards to, even let's say that Isaiah didn't write the entire book, in this whole book we have a multiple people who are called servant, if regardless Isaiah wrote it or not. So I think it's more.
But what the
probable.
author of First Isaiah says about who is called a servant doesn't have any effect on who the author of Second Isaiah calls the servant. The author of Second Isaiah has his own theological language that he's employing.
Got it. So in Isaiah 53, the Hebrew words here that are used for the dead, it always means a physical death. So can I ask you something?
What
in Isaiah?
what word is that?
Bible, here, let me pull it up for you.
Is it the word moat?
No, not. Well, it could be, but I have it here written down.
Because I'm unaware of any Hebrew word that only means physical dead.
Mavet is never used for a symbolic death.
Mavet is the plural of moat, and it doesn't only just mean the physically.
It's never used for a symbolic death, unless you have a verse that's used for a symbolic death.
Yeah, let me take a look.
Sure. Naga also. It's physical.
Let's see. Let's see. Oh yeah, Hosea 13 verse 1 refers to Ephraim as dying. Vayemot, same root word.
What is it?
Hosea 13 verse 1.
14 verse 1?
13 verse 1.
Let me read it real quick.
Let's see. Hosea 13. Let's see. When Ephraim spoke, men trembled. He was exalted in Israel, but he incurred guilt through Baal and died. That's not.
And how do we know this?
Because
how do we know this is physical?
Ephraim's not a literal of a physical person. You know that, right? It's a people group, and the people group continue to exist.
But in the context of 13, they did not continue to exist.
No, they did. The people of Ephraim did not die off in the time of Hosea. Like you know who Ephraim is, right? The people of Ephraim.
Yeah.
Who is
That's one of the tribes. That's one of the tribes.
Well, Ephraim here is not referring to one of the tribes. It's referring to the northern house of Israel. So after the alleged deunification of the nation of Israel after Solomon, the nation of Israel is divided into the south and the north. In the south, you have the Beit Yehuda, the house of Judah. And in the north, you have what's called Beit Yisrael, the house of Israel, also called Beit Ephraim, the house of Ephraim. Beit Ephraim refers to the 10 tribes, the 10 northern tribes who did not all go extinct, because some of them appear even in the Gospels.
Mm-hmm.
Like, have you heard of the Samaritans?
Yeah. Samaritans, they're mixed.
Yeah,
they're Jewish and
yeah, they're descendants of the 10 tribes, so they didn't die off. Here, the death refers to like the cutting off of the cutting out of the covenant people.
Okay. So I'm gonna have to do more research about that one. But what I was gonna get at for Isaiah 53, in the Bible it says that Israel is gonna have everlasting salvation. So that would contradict Isaiah 53 with the servant dying.
No, because this isn't first and foremost. The suffering of the servant is not something that happens in the future from the perspective of the author. The author doesn't say about the suffering of the servant, he will be despised and rejected of men, or surely he will bear our griefs. No, the author refers to the suffering of the servant as something that's already taken place from their perspective. The servants already suffered. The part that's yet to come is the exaltation of the suffering servant. So the servant suffering is what took place during the Babylonian exile. That's and the people Nebuchadnezzar coming upon the people of Jerusalem, destroying the city, carrying them away into exile, subjugating them in Babylon. This is the suffering of the servant.
Can you explain to me what death is being mentioned here in Isaiah 53?
Yes, it's the symbolic death of the nation as a whole. Like, for example, if you put the nation of Israel in exile being like a dead man, the vision of the Valley of Dry Bones. You're familiar with it?
Yes.
Yeah, Ezekiel sees a vision of a valley of dry bones, and Yahweh says to him, "Say to these bones, be healed and be whole and whatnot." And he sees the bones come together and form a bunch of people, and Yahweh says, "This is the house of Israel, the house of this is the Jewish people." He's saying that just like the Jewish people are dead, in the sense of they are cut off from the covenant and or from their high position because they've been knocked down as a people, they will rise up again. This is the death that's being referred to. But also, don't forget that a lot of Israelites did in fact die during the Babylonian exile, during the sacking of Jerusalem, even righteous Israelites.
If it's a symbolic death, it would contradict Zechariah.
Why? Where?
Zechariah 10:12.
Zechariah, chapter
12:10. I'm sorry, 12:10.
Well, 12:10 is about a completely different individual, and this is not talking about the suffering of the servant during the Babylonian exile.
Rabbis agree that Zechariah 12:10 is parallel to Isaiah 53.
Well,
and there's only one figure.
I just disagree with them. I don't agree with the rabbis at all. The rabbis have a lot of traditions that were innovated after the biblical period, and I don't agree with their innovations.
Well, there's only one figure in the entire Tanakh that's ever that dies in the Tanakh. There's only one figure that dies, and for the house of Israel or for the house of David, specifically for them, there's only one figure in the Tanakh.
Who? I'm unaware. Isaiah 53 suffers not just for the wicked of Israel, but for the kings of the nations. And it's not that they're dying for their sins. It doesn't use the preposition lamed, which means for. It uses the preposition mem, which means because. They suffered because of the sins of the nations.
Well, nonetheless, there's only one figure in the Tanakh that dies on part of the house of David or the house of Israel, unless you can provide another person that is.
This is referring. I don't understand what you're saying. The Isaiah 53 is about the nation of Israel who went into Babylonian exile, suffered, and spiritually died, and are being brought back and exalted, which is why the servant is referred to in the plural in Isaiah 53, verse 8.
Yeah. So
is Jesus one person or multiple persons?
Jesus is one person.
Okay. Why does the servant get referred to as being a them?
Where?
Isaiah 53,
Where
verse
is it
8.
referred to?
Because of the transgression of my people, they were afflicted. Isaiah 53, verse 8. Mi pesha ami nega lamo.
Okay, I only see Lamal, which is he. I don't see they.
Lamo doesn't mean he, though. It means them. And I can show you where, even in your Bible, it gets translated correctly as a them. So, for example, what does your Bible say in Psalm 99, verse 7?
99:7?
Yeah.
Let me find it.
Why there's a pause in here? Omega Pop, why don't you hop up in here? Because you got a lot to say in that comment section. So come on up.
I'm sure Omega Pop is fluent in Hebrew and can speak against what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You said Psalms.
99, verse 7.
Okay. Lamal does not exist in 99.7.
What? Okay, here. I guess I'm gonna have to bring up my own text here because I don't know what it is you're looking at, but it is there. Here, give me a second to get this set up. Let's see.
Or maybe, oh, sorry, I was on verse 6. That was my bad.
There you go.
Verse 7. And the word lamau here, it's translated as them.
Them, yeah. So everyone on the screen who can see, we have here the last 3 words of Psalm 99 verse 7 says, V'choch natan lamo. And lamo here means, as you just pointed out, means them. Now, this isn't the only time.
It depends on the context the word is used, though, because there's some verses where lamau is translated as he.
I would just say that your translation is wrong then. It's them.
It depends on the context of what the word is used in. In Isaiah 53, it's translated as he instead of them because the individual is seen as singular.
No.
Starting from the beginning of the chapter.
No. What does Psalm 2:4 say? Yoshev b'shamayim yitzchach Adonai yilag lamo. He who sits in the heaven laughs. The Lord derides lamo, them. Lamo is a poetic word in Hebrew. It's equivalent to the Hebrew word lahem. It's not equivalent to the Hebrew word lo. Lahem and lamo both mean them.
Wait.
This is why Jewish translations accurately translate the text using words like them. So, for example, if you look, let's see, Rashi 53, Isaiah. Rabbi A.J. Goldberg's translation of the Tanakh, for example, of the Hebrew Bible. Let's see. Says, pull up the browser again. There we go. In the browser here it says, from imprisonment and from judgment he is taken, and his generation who shall tell? For he was cut off from the land of the living. Because of the transgression of my people, a plague befell them. That's the meaning of the Hebrew word lamo. Means them.
Psalms 11:7, lamo is used there, and it says his. Psalms 22:9, his temple. Job 20:23,
their temple.
His belly. Psalms 29:9, his temple. It says his temple.
I'm just going to disagree with your Bible translation. I mean, it's a Christian translation. I don't blame it for being so shite.
Well, that would be in a occurrence to what you have on your screen. But the word lamau, it can be used, and it is used in various passages for he.
In your Christian Bible, sure, in your Christian Bible. But again,
it is generally used for they. I will agree with you with that. It's usually referred to as they or them, but in some occurrences, it's used for he when you look at the context. Because you can't just throw lamau there and automatically assume it's they without previously looking at
yeah, because that's what lamo means, especially in this context where the servant, where it's referring to the servant, and throughout the text of 2nd Isaiah, the servant is Israel.
That's not how Hebrew words work. You can't just throw in a word.
I'm sorry.
There
do you speak Hebrew?
I understand.
do.
I know. Sure. I'm not arguing with you on that, but you can't just throw in a Hebrew word there and ignore the context of it.
Yeah, the context is that's referring to the suffering servant who is repeatedly referred to as the nation of Israel within 2nd Isaiah. So when we get to this word and it says lamo, the obvious implication, like many rabbis and translators who speak actual Hebrew have translated this as them.
The word suffering servant doesn't even exist in Isaiah.
No,
you know that, right?
Isaiah 52 verse 13 says, "Behold, my servant shall be highly exalted and lifted up."
It doesn't say my suffering servant. It says my servant.
But does the servant suffer in Isaiah 53?
Yes.
it's in 52 because that's where this section actually starts is in 52.
What kind of bullshit argument is this that it doesn't call him a suffering servant? Sure, it doesn't use the phrase suffering servant, but it calls him a servant and it says that he suffers, which would make him a
Sure.
which would make him a
Suffering
what?
servant, but that's by implication. The word suffering servant doesn't exist in Isaiah.
Doesn't matter. He's a suffering servant, is he not?
Sure, but that word doesn't exist.
Why
Suffering servant.
did you bring up that the text doesn't say suffering servant then? If we all agree that this is the suffering servant.
Well, I was just picking up on something that you said.
What?
You said something
So
about the
so this
suffering.
section starts the section in my Bible in my NRSVU is called the suffering service because it actually starts at 52 verse 13. See, my servant shall prosper, he shall be exalted and lifted up, and it goes through and it talks about the servant. It's literally described this by the authors of the NRSVUE. So I don't know why your Bible doesn't say that, but it's very clear that this is the suffering servant because every time the servant is mentioned, they're called the suffering servant.
Sure, he suffers. I'm not disagreeing with that. He's not directly called suffering servant, though.
Yeah, I agree, Jim Lepeg. This is a verbatim fallacy that the guest is making. Now, again, let's pretend let's pretend that you and I are two Jewish men living before the time of Jesus, and you want me to believe that this text is about the Messiah. Why would I think it's about the Messiah when the context clearly says it's about Israel?
Where does it say it's about Israel?
Throughout the text of 2nd Isaiah. Over and over and over again.
We're using the word servant as if it automatically has to apply to Israel.
In Isaiah, all throughout Isaiah's 40 through 52, who is the servant?
There's many people called servant in Isaiah. It's
Two.
not just Israel.
Second Isaiah has two groups called the servant, and that's the nation of Israel, the remnant as a whole, and then the prophet specifically because he's a member of that group.
Isaiah.
No.
Is Isaiah the suffering servant who suffers?
No, because Isaiah didn't write second Isaiah. It's like we're back at the beginning of the conversation.
But we can't.
But
you can't just say.
Is Isaiah a part? Is Isaiah a member of Israel?
Yes. But that doesn't.
Then my point stands.
Why are you assuming that he has to be included in the group though?
Because he is. Do you think Isaiah? Do you think that the author, the prophet, speaking in second Isaiah, is not a member of Israel?
He is a member, but do you have to assume?
So I'm not assuming then that the text is very obvious that he's a member of the people of Israel, right?
But we're referring to the verse. You're assuming that Isaiah.
I'm not assuming. I'm not assuming. I've read second Isaiah. The author of the individual of Isaiah 49 is a member of the people of Israel. Correct?
Sure, and I'm not disagreeing with that.
So I'm not assuming that.
But I'm saying,
the text second Isaiah makes that very clear.
What does second Isaiah say again?
Second Isaiah says that the prophet is also called Israel, and the prophet is a member of the people of Israel.
Yeah.
So throughout second Isaiah, the servant is repeatedly referred to as Israel or specific individuals within Israel, like the servant, like Isaiah, like the author of second Isaiah himself. In Isaiah 49, he says that he's called the servant because he's a member of that group. So if I get to Isaiah 52 verse 13 and it tells me my servant shall be highly exalted and lifted up, who am I supposed to think it is? All of a sudden, out of nowhere, in this one and only passage in second Isaiah, it means someone completely different?
You're supposed to assume that it's a servant when referring to the context of 52.
But okay, fun fact, Christianos, fun fact. When this section of Isaiah was written, there was no chapter 52. There was no chapter 53. There were no chapter divisions. So it's one text. It's one text.
Sure. Right, fine, that's fine. But I'm saying for you have to to know who the context of the servant is, you have to read what it's saying about the servant.
Yes, you have to read Isaiah chapters 40 through 52 in order to know what Isaiah 53 is about. And that's,
You you could.
You should. That's how whoever wrote the section of Second Isaiah, they're expecting that by the time you get to this section of Second Isaiah, that you've already read everything else they've written, because unlike modern Americans who have their Bibles divided into chapters, and therefore they read only chapters. When the book of Second Isaiah was first written, it was one whole text that was read together.
So you agree in that whole text, David is mentioned as one of the servants of God,
in
right?
Second Isaiah, David is never referred to as the servant.
I didn't say Second Isaiah. I'm talking about
I've only been talking about Second Isaiah.
Book of Isaiah. We're talking about the book of Isaiah.
I don't care about the whole book of Isaiah. I'm talking about Second Isaiah.
Well, we're talking about the book of Isaiah. So
no, okay. I'll say it again. I'll say it again. I'm talking about Second Isaiah, which is its own individual work by its own individual author with its own theological language. I don't care what Proto-Isaiah says. What Proto-Isaiah says has no bearing on Deutero-Isaiah.
Isaiah 53 is a part of a whole book. That means you have to care about what the entire book says and not
because when Second Isaiah was originally written, it wasn't part of this whole thing called the Book of Isaiah. It was written by a different author at a different time.
Says who?
Says that.
Where's your source?
Okay, first.
Where's your source?
Oh, the source is the book of Isaiah itself. Look and read for Isaiah chapters 40 through 56. You'll notice first off, you're not going to be able to hear what I'm saying if you keep talking. You'll never see Isaiah's name mentioned ever again after chapter 39. And the author of Second Isaiah is writing about the Jewish people as they are leaving exile. Did Isaiah live during the time when the Jewish people were leaving the exile?
No, but it could be a prophecy of the exile.
No, because when he speaks to King Cyrus, he uses perfect tense language to speak to him, not future tense.
Every prophecy uses perfect tense.
No,
almost every prophecy.
No,
almost.
Don't say things that you don't say things you don't like. No, like don't just make things up on the spot. When the prophets speak about the future, they use the imperfect tense. Words like, and this shall come to pass, or he shall do this, he shall do that. That's the imperfect tense. When referring to something that's taken place in the past, you use the perfect tense, the complete tense. Isaiah 45 uses the complete tense when it talks about how God has grasped, perfect tense, the hand of Cyrus.
Almost every prophecy in the Tanakh speaks in the perfect tense.
No. What is perfect tense?
Almost every.
What is perfect tense?
Almost every.
What is perfect
tense? And speaking in the present moment.
No, that's not what perfect tense means.
I thought isn't perfect tense is when you speak while you're not using words or verbs that indicate something that's already passed or something that is going to come. You're speaking in a
perfect tense is the same as in our English as like past tense. It's a completed action. It's already happened. That's why it's called perfect.
I was referring to when the prophecies in the Bible they're usually read in a form that when the author he's speaking like it's happening at the moment.
No, that's not what I'm referring to. The Hebrew has the tenses of perfect and imperfect. A perfect action is something that's already occurred. When a prophet speaks about the future, what shall come to pass, it uses the imperfect tense. Now,
and the other argument you're using that it doesn't mention Isaiah's name. Well, there's many books in the Bible that doesn't mention the author's name.
It's quite strange. No, because Isaiah chapters 1 through 39 use Isaiah's name over and over and over again.
What if Isaiah didn't want to use his name for that specific chapter?
Well, what a funny what if. But again, when the text of Second Isaiah refers to the exile as if it's about to come to an end, as if it's looking at the exiles that are coming out of exile right now. And when the author speaks to King Cyrus using perfect tense language, like that Yahweh has grasped Cyrus's hand, not he shall grasp his hand, but he has grasped his hand. This tells us that the author is writing during the time of the return of the exiles. That's how language works.
I mean, I'm gonna have to research about this, but there's nothing in the verse that tells me that Isaiah didn't write it.
Yes, the perfect tense referring to Cyrus does tell you that Isaiah definitely didn't write this, unless you want to make the
Could
claim
just
that
be the
Cyrus
way
was
that
hundreds of years old when he wrote this text.
it could just be the way that the author is writing it. It could be the poetic style.
No, so Isaiah suddenly changes his entire style of writing after chapter 39.
He could have changed it.
He could have.
I don't know who.
I don't listen. I don't care about these what ifs and what could have. The data does not support but the prophet Isaiah being responsible for any work after Isaiah chapter 40 onwards.
It says who?
Says the consensus of scholarship. This is the consensus. Most Christian, Jewish, and even secular scholars like Dan McClellan, Francesca Stavrokopoulou, Joel Baden, they would all agree, John J. Collins, they would all agree that, listen, like the text of 2nd Isaiah, you can go watch the Yale Bible study, for example, from Yale University. They go through the text of 2nd Isaiah. They give you examples throughout the text where the author could not have been the prophet Isaiah. It's immediately obvious to anyone who isn't already committed to the idea that the entire book was written by Isaiah.
And sure, it could, and that's a possibility, but it doesn't mean that you get to pick and choose what prophecies align with the book of Isaiah.
No, when we are asking the question of who is the servant of Isaiah, found in Deutero Isaiah, my go-to source is going to be the rest of Deutero Isaiah, because he is the author. He has something to say. I'm going to see what he has to say about what he believes.
And sure, but that's what you're gonna do.
Yes,
but as
context.
For the book of Isaiah, which speaks about the what's going on with Isaiah, where
I didn't ask about Proto-Isaiah or what's happening to Isaiah.
It doesn't matter. That's your
opinion. It does
opinion.
matter. No, it's not an opinion. It's not an opinion. It's not an opinion. It's not an opinion. It is a fact. It is a fact that Isaiah could not have possibly written Isaiah 42 onwards.
That's fine, and I didn't disagree with you. That's fine, but that doesn't mean that you get to pick and choose what.
I'm not
parts of
picking
Isaiah
I'm not picking and choosing.
You're obviously
No, you clearly don't understand what's happening right now. I'm not picking and choosing. I'm asking the question of, when the author of 2nd Isaiah says the servant, what does he mean? Which means we need to go and look at the work of the author of 2nd Isaiah. Consulting a different author who lived at a different time with a completely different audience and completely different mission is not going to help us understand what the author of 2nd Isaiah is trying to say in regards to who is the servant. Now you can unmute yourself. He kept trying to unmute himself while I'm specifically, typical Christian, doesn't understand boundaries.
Where does it say that the other author has a different mission from what Isaiah has?
Yeah, the mission. Okay, let's test your knowledge in the Bible here. What's the mission of the author of 2nd Isaiah?
Wait, you said 2nd of Isaiah?
2nd Isaiah. What's the mission of the author of 2nd Isaiah?
From the top of my head, I would assume that it would be concerning what's going to happen with the nation of Israel. I could be wrong.
Who's he speaking? Who's his prophecies given to? Who's his audience?
The nations?
No.
Oh, then it would be Israel, then, right?
Israel at a very specific time in history under certain circumstances, correct?
Yeah.
What are those circumstances?
I don't know the circumstances.
The audience of 2nd Isaiah, the Israelites at the time, are in Babylonian captivity. The Persians have at this point already conquered the Babylonians. And King Cyrus is soon going to allow the Israelites to return home. That is the historical circumstances of 2nd Isaiah. go back and read the whole. I mean, the second Isaiah literally begins with Yahweh saying that a highway will be opened in the desert so that the people of God can return back home. And how the people of Israel have been sitting in the dust for so long, but now they're going to be raised up. Isaiah 52 verses 1 through 2. That's the context. That's the mission of the prophet at this time, is to gather in these exiled Jewish people in Babylon and to raise them up and bring them back to the Holy Land. That's a completely different mission than the mission of the prophet Isaiah, whose whole mission was about speaking warnings to the nation of Israel prior to the exile, even prior to the time of the, this is during the onslaught of the Assyrians. That's what his mission's all about.
What does the other author say that indicates he has a different mission from what Isaiah says?
Yeah, it's literally the entire book of Second Isaiah. It's all about him telling the people of Israel that the time of their suffering is coming to an end, that they have received double at the hand of Yahweh for all their sins, and now a highway is being opened in the desert to call them back to the Holy Land, to shake the dust from their feet, and to be put on beautiful garments, and that God is saving them from their exile. That's the entirety of Second Isaiah.
Yeah. Got it. But what does the other author say that contradicts that?
Contradicts? It's not about contradiction. It's about different missions. Isaiah, if you read First Proto-Isaiah, chapters 1 through 39, everything that Isaiah does is about warning the people of Israel to repent of their sins. And if they don't, that the Assyrians are going to come and is going to wipe them out. And a bunch of other oracles against other nations.
Yeah. I know what you're saying here, but what does the other author say that indicates or assumes that he has a different mission from what
are the missions that I just mentioned the same? Are those the same thing?
What were the missions you said?
I'll say it one last time, and one last time only. Proto-Isaiah, speaking to the children of Israel prior to exile. They're sinning. He's calling them to repent of their sins, to return back to God, so that the enemy of the Assyrians will not overcome them. And also many oracles against other nations, telling them to repent or else God was going to destroy them. Second Isaiah, the children of Israel have already received double at the hand of the Lord for all their sins. And now the time of their exile is ending. A highway is opened in the desert for them to return to the Holy Land. They are to shake the dust off of them and to put on beautiful garments because God is raising them up.
Okay, now I understand. Thank you. You think we could go back to Isaiah 53 real quick?
Sure.
Okay. So, how would you respond to when it says that he has done no violence, nor was he any deceit in his mouth? But Isaiah 2 says that he is
different people, different time. Different time. Isaiah is addressing a people who are heavy with sin. The author of Second Isaiah is dealing with a different people group. Oh well, it's the Israelites, but at a different time in history. And they are righteous, which is why the author of Zechariah uses the same exact language for describing Israel as Isaiah 53.
But where in the Tanakh does it teach that Israel has done no violence?
Zephaniah 3:13.
Where is it?
Zephaniah chapter 3 verse 13. As it is
written. You said what'd you say?
Zephaniah 3:13. I'll start from verse 12. For I will leave in the midst of you a people humble and lowly. They shall seek refuge in the name of the Lord. Those who are left in Israel, they shall do no wrong and utter no lies, nor shall there be found in their mouths a deceitful tongue. For they shall pasture and lie down, and none shall make them afraid. Same exact language used by the author of Second Isaiah. Put it on the screen.
Can you put it on the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here. Here it is. For I will leave in the midst of you a people humble and lowly. They shall seek refuge in the name of the Lord. Those who are left in Israel, the remnant of Israel, they shall do no wrong and utter no lies, nor shall there be found in their mouth a deceitful tongue. For they shall pasture and lie down, and none shall make them afraid. when we look at Isaiah 53, the passage that you're referring to, it uses the same exact language, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I would argue that 53 says it uses more like in a way that the servant has never, like ever. Whereas this one, it's talking about current moment.
No, this is also referring to the current moment, to the people. He's speaking about the people. Again, if you have a righteous generation, whether or not a previous generation was wicked doesn't tell you that this righteous generation have never sinned or not.
Okay.
The mistake here is that when we say that our suffering servant is Israel, we do not mean Israel at all time periods of history, forever. By no means. This is referring specifically to the people of Israel at the very tail end of the exile. They are the righteous remnant who have been purified through their sufferings.
Okay, one last thing. How about in verse 12 when it says that he intercedes for the transgressors?
That's the job of that's literally the job of the Israelites. Right? To pray for the sinful of Israel? Like, are you familiar with
the intercession for the transgressors? Where is that in the Tanakh? Where does it teach that?
Yeah, like for example, are you familiar with the Sukkot sacrifice? What sacrifice is offered on Sukkot?
Sukkot, isn't it? Let me see if I know this from the top of my head. Isn't it the ones where the lamb isn't the bones aren't broken? Is it that one?
That's Passover.
Oh, that's Passover. I'm sorry. No, I wouldn't know that one then.
They offer 70 bulls. Why 70?
I don't know why 70.
Well, what's 70 a reference to in the Hebrew Bible? Throughout the Pentateuch. Is it the
70?
The 70 nations? The table of nations?
I think so.
So why are they offering 70 bulls? For who?
For the nations.
They make intercession for the nations.
That wouldn't mean intercession though.
That's intercession. They are acting as a. That's why in the book of Exodus chapter 19, verse 6, God calls the children of Israel a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. What's the purpose of a priest?
Isn't it to give Levitical laws?
That's not just no, they don't give the law. Moses is the one who gives the law through Yahweh.
I know that I didn't mean it like that. I meant like
Isn't the job of a priest to be an intermediary between God and man? To offer sacrifices?
Yes. I think so. Yeah.
So if the nation of Israel are referred to as kingdom of priests, what does that mean that the author believes is the intention of the nation?
To be to have that portal of forgiveness of sins.
Yeah, they're meant to be the intermediaries between God and the nations. That's the whole reason in the Hebrew Bible why the children of Israel are chosen to be his covenant people, is to make the world a better place, to be as Isaiah, the author of 2nd Isaiah puts it in Isaiah 42, a light for the nations.
Mm. Well, that was all that I had.
All right. Well, if that's all you got, then hey, it was had an interesting conversation with you today, Christianos.
Okay. Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
All right. Let's see if we got any super chats before we move on to the next guest. We have here at Fern Love Bond with the $5 saying, God of which Bible, Quinn? Hebrew, Christian, what the heck is GFY? Excuse me, GFY of the Christian Bible. Piece of shit, fuckface, another one. Sinfully wet for Sharon. Could anyone enlighten me as to what GFY stands for? Let's see. I don't see any comments. Oh well. I guess it'll just be it'll be a mystery for now. The mystery of godliness. At Game Guy BQ4DR with the $2 says, was that Dalton's first baby paste? It was. I popped my baby paste cherry right here on the live in front of everybody. Isn't that lovely? Let's see. And then at Cameron Kuramani 4548 with the $5 saying, "Go Persians." I love these debates. Go Persians. All right, we're gonna bring up the next guest, World Defier. I think we've had World Defier up on the line, but if I'm not wrong, World Defier,
Yes.
aren't you a friendly?
Well, I'm a Christian, but I am friendly. To
Oh,
you,
you're a
definitely.
Christian. Okay, yeah, you were above 18 years old, Christian, and did you go by he him?
Yes, yeah, man, you remember me. That's pretty good. I like that.
Yeah. World Defier, what brings you back to the live?
Oh God, man, I've been watching a lot of your stuff, man. You really good. One of the things I like is you're kind of autodidactic, and I really dig that. Very learned. You understand Hebrew probably far better than I do. I'm much better with Greek, even though I'm not claiming to be expert at that neither. But I had some questions I think that were unfulfilled, or a lot of the questions I watch in your lives. One was last time we didn't really go into it too much. We kind of just went into the virgin birth a little bit, but I wanted to touch on maybe the divinity of Jesus here for a second.
Sure.
And I understand that you don't accept the New Testament or anything in that path as like the words of Jesus, but as a whole, I guess if we could take the New Testament and see where it applies to, I would say if you went to Nehemiah 9:6.
I thought we were talking about the New Testament.
Yeah, I am. But this applies to because actually my favorite book as a Christian in the New Testament is the book of Hebrews.
Sure. Nehemiah 9:6, and Ezra said, "Thou art Yahweh, thou alone. Thou hast made heaven, the heavens of heavens, with all their hosts, the earth and all that is on it, the seas and all that is in them, and thou preservest all of them, and the host of heaven worship thee."
Okay, and then if you went to Psalm 102, what is it, 23 and 27 in the Septuagint? It's a little off. It's a little it's like 101. 20 there says, "You out Yahweh, in the beginning laid the foundations of the earth and the heavens, the work of your hands."
Yeah, are you gonna, because the New Testament says that Jesus does this, therefore Jesus is Yahweh?
Well, I was referring to the book of Hebrews specifically quotes that verbatim in there as referring to Jesus.
Yeah,
in 110.
Yeah, the problem is 110.
Yeah.
Psalm 110.
Oh no, excuse me. Psalm, it's excuse me. It's mentioned in Psalm 102. We repeated that. It's in Psalm 102.
Yeah, are you aware of Memra theology in Judaism at the time? Because don't forget that just because the author of Nehemiah, for example, believes a thing about Yahweh, doesn't mean necessarily that this is going to be the belief about Yahweh that the Jews of the Second Temple period held to. But you are aware that there are many places in the Hebrew Bible where it says that Yahweh does X, Y, and Z, and then you'll go and read the Targumim, for example, and it'll say that the Memra de Adonai, the word of the Lord, did those things. Are you familiar with the Memra in Jewish theology?
A little bit. So not much though. So you can fill me in.
By the time of the Hellenistic period, when the Jewish people are being more and more so inspired, I gotta get this centered, inspired by Greek Hellenistic philosophy and whatnot, God goes from being this very down-to-earth, involved figure to becoming more and more and more highly exalted and transcendent. Which one do I choose? Okay. Highly exalted and transcendent figure. So much so that there are certain passages of the Bible where God is very anthropomorphic in nature, such as, for example, it says in the Garden of Eden that they heard the sound of the Lord God walking in the garden. And later Jews had a problem with this because God is transcendent. So what do? They said, well, that actually wasn't Yahweh himself. That was the Memra, which in Aramaic means word. it correlates to the Greek word
Mm-hmm.
logos. They'll say no, and which is why in the Targum
100%.
it'll say the word of the Lord did this thing, which was an angelic figure, was the Mimra of the Lord. So, and this is another example of this passage where, while the psalmist definitely envisions that it's Yahweh himself who's directly involved in creation and doing all these things, by the time you get to the second period, there's already a belief that there's this angelic being called the Logos, or the Mimra in Aramaic, who is actually just the Yahweh's instrument who is performing these actions, because Yahweh is too highly exalted. And the author of Hebrews believes that Jesus is that angelic figure.
Oh, 100%. 100%. So I guess we're in agreement on that. No, yeah, no 100%, because
I
literally
don't
in that passage.
While I say that Jesus isn't God in the New Testament, I don't make the claim that the authors of the New Testament don't think he's divine. They definitely do think he's divine. They think he's like this highly exalted, eldest of all God's angels, sort of archangelic figure called the Word.
Okay, but see that's what I kind of wanted to get with you on that is and we may disagree on some of the etymologies and things of that nature, which is fine. I believe in questioning even scholars. You know what I mean? James White did a great debate with Bart D. Ehrman on that, and I thought they had a good argument back and forth. And it's funny because when you look at the word theos, or particularly when I was referring to this verse here, it literally referred to him as Yud Vei Vav He. You know, he actually calls him that in Hebrews. But when you say the word is divine, I don't have a problem with that. I like actually the John 1:1. Actually, I don't believe is the strongest verse for it, but I believe it clearly says it. Actually, if you instead of saying the word divine, which is actually theos or theon, however you want to pronounce it, but it says NRK hologos. When it goes into that, it's saying basically whatever God is, the word is. And when you say it's divine, so if he's divine, he's sharing all the attributes.
In arche, in hologos, in the beginning was the word, kai hologos in proston theon, and the word was with the God, kai theos in hologos, and divine was the word. Theos in the second.
Well, you say divine was the word, but it actually says, and God was the word, if you keep the original Greek.
Theos doesn't always refer to, like, it's not indicative of identity. It's used here qualitatively, adjectively, to describe the nature of the thing. For example, so the thing is theos in nature, but even angels are called theos in nature, correct?
Not in that sense in context.
So, for example,
because the context tells us everything.
Philo of Alexandria believed in this archangel figure of many names, and he calls this archangel figure Deuteros Theos.
Yes, Deuteros Theos, yes. 100%. And I actually agree with that.
What does it mean for this angel to be Deuteros Theos?
It's saying he's of this divine essence.
Essence?
I wouldn't say essence. I would say
quality,
divine and in quality, right? But in John 1:1, where I absolutely agree with you on this, I don't think Philo is disagreeing with this. If we say whatever, I love that. Well, I can't remember. I think it was the RV that translated it. Whatever God is, the word is. I believe that's the most accurate translation. Because if you would go literal with it, it actually says.
But that's not accurate though.
God
because
was the word.
Whatever Yahweh is, Jesus always isn't that thing. Like Yahweh is allegedly omniscient, right?
Well, now we're getting into characters and things of that nature, and we will get to that in 1 second. And I would love to go down that rabbit hole with you. But particularly speaking of Hebrews chapter 1, it's quoting this to the Son, which is Jesus. We're not going to deny that. But in Christian theology and this ideology, it calls him Yahweh.
Not in the Hebrews, no. No, in
the Septuagint.
In the Septuagint, it would have referred to Yahweh, but again, Jews at this time wouldn't have believed that this text was actually about Yahweh himself, but rather his intermediary figure.
But you would agree with me, though, that this literally says you in the beginning, in the Septuagint.
But the problem here is that the Bible's not, we don't assume univocality of the Bible, that the author of the book of the Psalms here in this passage is intending that it's about Yahweh himself. But just because that's how the author of the Psalms understood it, that doesn't mean that's how the Jews of the first century would have understood it. And we have examples repeatedly, where originally in the text it refers to Yahweh himself, but the Jews of the Second Temple period like pushed off that to be about this angelic being called the Word.
But it doesn't refer to logos in Hebrews. It literally quotes verbatim. Matter of fact,
All the language that's used throughout the New Testament, including Hebrews, uses the language to describe Jesus in the same way that the logos figure is referenced.
yeah. Well, when it says that, it specifically says kata archeos kurai tereson gion and then ethulamos. I'm butchering the Greek here. Excuse me. Kai aruga tun 110, and that's referring to literally. It said in beginning or the beginning. We could insert the word the, but in beginning, you Lord or Yahweh, Yud Vei Vav Hey, laid the foundation of the earth, and that was talking to the Son.
The author of Hebrews, quoting a Bible passage from the Old Testament, doesn't instill a lot of confidence in me, because repeatedly throughout the New Testament, the authors of the New Testament are repeatedly quoting the Hebrew Bible and quoting it out of context, because they aren't very familiar with its original context, or they didn't seem to care about the original context. Now, the author of the book of Hebrews is reading the Septuagint, and for them, it would just say kurios instead of Yud He Vav He, Yahweh.
Yes.
So whether or not they would have been aware that the text was originally about Yahweh or not, I don't know. But the author of the New Testament repeatedly demonstrate that they aren't very capable of quoting the Hebrew Bible accurately.
Well, that's because, again, and I actually agree with you, they weren't quoting from Masoretic. They were definitely quoting.
I mean Old Testament. They weren't good at quoting the Old Testament.
Well, and I guess we would disagree on that, but that's because of what they apply it to. And I know you disagree with that, but that's what they do apply it to. And yes, I think we do agree on that. That this here they are referring
when
to
I see
as
authors
Yud Vei Vav Hey.
When I see authors of the New Testament consistently apply Old Testament passages to Jesus that in the original context had nothing to do with him, that when I get to Hebrews, and while the original context is about Yahweh, that doesn't tell me that that the author knew this was about Yahweh, or even if he did, I mean, it would just be another example of an author of the New Testament poorly quoting the Old Testament.
Now, granted, that would be true. I would give you that. Granted, that would be very, very true. If Jesus isn't Yud Vei Vav Hey, if he isn't the Tetragrammaton, if he's not that, I would agree with you. But if he is that, it would make sense. And granted, that would be.
But
we would have to go through other things.
I was about to say everything else in the New Testament, just like the way there's a mountain of evidence in the New Testament suggesting that Jesus is not the God of Israel, and a very few select passages that Christians are able to pry from that, when done a little bit of detective work on, become very clear that the author is not intended to say that Jesus is the God of Israel.
Well, I definitely see it when it verbatim in this particular passage. And I grant you there's other passages that are Romans 9:5 and so forth, so on and so forth. But in this particular passage, written to Hebrew people, which technically, historically, what it's supposed to be, from a Hebrew mindset, obviously, and I know you're very good with Hebrew, understood that this author was applying this name to Jesus.
Well, no, there is no the Jewish people of the first century CE don't have the same mindset as the people who wrote the Psalms. They have a completely different mindset. They are separated from the psalmist by hundreds and hundreds of years, living in a different time and culture, and heavily influenced by Greek philosophy. and theological development.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's it. That's all.
Granted, I'm sorry. No, I would actually agree. Even if we were to grant you that, say I grant you that, they are indeed applying that this name Yud Vei Vav Hey, the Tetragrammaton, to Jesus here.
No, they're applying Psalm 102 to Jesus, but do they think that the individual in Psalm 102 is Yahweh himself, or do they think it's the word, the Mimra? In their theology, Do they think that the kurios here is meant to be Yahweh, or do they think the kurios is meant to be this archangelic figure?
Actually, it's funny, and that's why I love the context of this, because the context it says he is the image, right? That matter of fact, the Greek word that I love it's outraying of. That, in other words, I love what one person said. He said, "Has the sun ever existed and not produced light?" It's referring to him literally in this essence as the same thing.
Icon?
Same essence.
Icon doesn't mean essence.
No.
That's when it says
No,
image. It's icon.
Image.
Image is
He
icon
is
in
the
the Greek.
image.
Yeah, that's the Greek word icon.
Right. Icon in there. He is the radiance. The word radiance there is the outraying of his glory, the exact imprint of his nature. The word nature is used there.
Icon just means that something is like, it means what we use it in English. It means image. Like, for example,
Right.
icon could refer to, like, for example, if you have a clay seal, and if you have clay and you press your seal into it, the seal creates the icon of the seal.
Mhm.
It doesn't mean that the seal and the signet ring are one and the same in essence. It just means that the clay seal mirrors like the original object. Not that they're the same
Absolutely,
thing.
and I would agree with that. But it's the other words in here, which is upastos, which is it's that essence. He is the very expressed essence, outraying
Which
from
verse?
him.
Which
The
verse?
word is. This is 1:3, Hebrews 1:3. Excuse me.
Yeah, let's take a look at this. Because what I find very often is that Christians are reading back onto the authors of the New Testament later philosophy. He reflects the glory of God and bears the very stamp of his nature. He bears the stamp of his nature, but he's not one in essence with him. That's not what's being precluded by the text.
That right there says it. It's that word, apostos.
He bears the
That
very
is
not his nature. He doesn't bear his nature. He bears the stamp of his very nature.
essence.
Yeah,
The word
fine.
is
Fine.
essence.
Fine. He doesn't have the same essence as God. He has the very stamp of his essence.
Okay, that word is the radiance. The word radiance there is used as well. Is out from him. It's the apaguasu. Apaguasua. Which is that outraying radiance of his glory in the expressed image of his essence.
It's the Greek word character.
Yeah. Everything yeah, exactly. That word
It's like an engraving. That's what the word character means.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not saying anything other than that he is of
it's
that.
It's not saying anything other. It's not making the claim that Jesus has the same essence as God. It says only that that he mirrors and is like an engraving of God's essence. Like, for example, would you say that the clay seal is the very same thing as the stamp itself?
As the stamp itself, no. Image, yes.
But no, the seal is the image of the signet ring, but they're not the same thing.
Yes.
Jesus is the
Yes.
image of God, but they're not the same thing.
Right. You could even say that he created man in his own image. If we go back to the Hebrew aspect, that's not in the sense here.
For
In the
them,
sense here,
that
they
just
literally apply the name to him.
For them, for the author of Genesis 1, Salem just means that humans were made to look like Yahweh, and that's it.
Yeah, well, I agree with you that, and that's not an issue.
But
And what
when
I'm saying
when-
though is that this. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But when the authors of the New Testament say that Jesus is the very image and engraving of God's nature, it doesn't mean they have the same nature. Just that he himself is like a mirror image of God's nature, like the clay seal is the mirror image of the signet ring.
Look, I agree with you on what you just said there, but the thing is, I was using this as a back point to show what they considered it as before they put his name to it, and then they put his name to it. Yud Vei Vav Hey.
Yeah,
I apply that directly to him.
But again, does the author? The problem is that you seem to be insinuating that because when the author of the Psalms wrote this, they insinuated that it's Yahweh doing it. That's how the author of Hebrews understood it. We know
absolutely.
that, but we know Jews at the time didn't think that Psalm 102 was about Yahweh himself performing the actions, but only the Memra, and within Jewish angelology, the Memra was just the highest of all God's angels, not
Now,
God himself.
If we get down to the point of going into Mishnah or any other type of rabbinic teachings or so forth, so on,
Not even rabbinic. We
which
can
you
go to
could get
Philo.
Oh yeah, right. Even that, but I'm not disagreeing with Philo neither. I obviously agree with what Philo says. But the reason why I brought this exact imprint of his radiance, this outglowing glory of it in the Greek, which is kind of like really showing it when you read it, then it doesn't just leave it there. It doesn't say like, oh, he's like this or he is this.
No,
it
he says
literally applies the name to him.
No, again, no, it doesn't. It applies kurios to him. It doesn't apply the tetragrammaton.
Yeah, hold on. You know right now that's quoting.
Yes, I know what it's quoting in the Hebrew, but when the Jewish people were using Psalm 102, they wouldn't have thought the kurios here was referring to Yahweh himself, but to the Logos, who is not Yahweh himself.
That's if you don't take it from, and I agree with you. That's what you would get from
We have to use
Hebraic standpoint.
We have to use not Hebraic standpoint. We have to use the context of first century Judaism to understand the writings of the New Testament, not how did the authors of the Psalms understand their works.
Well, I actually agree with you on that first half. In the second half, you also have to understand the writings of the Christians, which were Jews, but they were Christians, who wrote this. And they applied it in a different way. And I know you disagree with that, but they did apply it.
If I'm going to read the works of first century Christians who are drawing from first century Jews, I'm going to read their work through the lens of first century Judaism, not from the perspective of like ancient Israelites.
But first century Judaism also did not agree with Christianity or Messianic Judaism, whatever you want to call it. The idea is that in what way? Josephus, for example, talked about this idea. We go into that, but we're not. We all know what's going on there. But
in what way, in reference to the Logos, does first century Judaism disagree with the writings of the New Testament?
How it applies to Jesus, like specifically here,
but
where it doesn't use the word Logos, it calls him literally Yud.
Philo uses all the same language for the Logos in his works that the New Testament uses for Jesus.
I agree. But I think the problem is, especially when you read Josephus, and what the problem was with, there was a lot of sects within Judaism that didn't agree with a lot of things. That's apparent, and amongst even today in Christianity and everything. But is it amongst here in this book of Hebrews where they applied this name to this person, Jesus, who is called Logos?
Okay, here, I'll say it again. I'll say it one last time.
Yeah.
The Israelites who wrote the Psalms understood the figure to be Yahweh. By the time you get to first century like Hellenistic Judaism, which is the best representation for what Christians would have believed, and even amongst non-Hellenistic Jews, like regular Pharisees also believe this, the belief was not that Yahweh is the figure being spoken about in Psalm 102. They understood that the figure in Psalm 102 was the Memra/Logos figure. So when the author of Hebrews quotes this passage and says this is about Jesus, it doesn't mean that he thinks that Jesus is Yahweh. He thinks that he's this angelic divine figure who is like the icon of God.
Okay. Here's an idea. Would you agree with me that these first century Christians were not, in a sense, the way he's even writing about it here, Jewish in their Orthodox tradition?
I think that
not in that essence.
I think that there's nothing in the New Testament that you can't really find in Second Temple Judaism.
Yeah, but I mean, like, for example, like in the book of Hebrews where it talks about Jesus being a high priest after the order of Melchizedek.
Philo really literally refers to the Logos as being the heavenly high priest.
That's great.
So that's not unique to the book of Hebrews. They're just applying to Jesus the characteristics of this already known angelic figure.
So you're saying that you believe that the author of Hebrews is not calling Jesus here Yud Vei Vav He.
No, he doesn't understand Jesus to be Yud He Vav He. He's working with the Septuagint and with the theology of a first century Jew.
Oh, right. And I would give you that. What I'm having trouble wrapping my head around is he literally says, but to the Son he says, "Your throne, O God," goes through the whole process. I ain't gonna read the whole
Yeah,
thing.
but that psalm
But
was about the king of Israel in its original context when it says, "Your throne, O God."
100%,
So,
100%. And I'm not even referring to
Yahweh.
that part.
Yeah.
But right, but I'm not referring to that part necessarily in general. But I am referring to the part where it literally uses the Tetragrammaton there to refer to this person as
Yeah, the
this right
Hebrew
here.
text uses the Tetragrammaton, but the Septuagint doesn't. And by the time we get to the 1st century, the Jews don't understand this figure to be Yahweh himself in the psalm.
And you're basing that on Philo,
On,
the author
on
of
Philo
Hebrews.
and the Targumim, everything we have from Second Temple Judaism.
Okay. Would you say Second Temple Judaism agreed with Christians?
On which factor explicitly?
Theology.
There are, I can't really think of any particular theology that they would have disagreed with.
Well, I would say this, and I think you have. I don't think you're ignorant by any means standard. I think you're well learned. But I think Josephus really explicitly explains it. I think the early church fathers especially
Explains what explicitly?
The relationship between how the Christians were
And
different.
and the Pharisees?
No, I wouldn't say Pharisees. I would say they're different from Judaism and its second temple, 1st century context.
When does Philo
they had a different belief.
When does Philo say this?
I didn't say Philo. No, I said when does Josephus? I say Josephus.
Well, I don't trust the church fathers to give me an accurate assessment of what the Jewish people believed. Now, when did Josephus make this claim?
Josephus made claims about them believing that he's the best manuscripts of him, which are refuted by many people on that half, but he refers to him as Messiah and that he was the one that was blessed to come, so forth, so on. Things that the Jews were against, so forth. I mean, Josephus never said that.
No.
So if I pull out Josephus right now and read it.
The Testimonium Flavianum has an interpolation that says he was the Christ, but Josephus isn't going to say that.
Well, okay, why? Now here's an idea. Is that the best manuscript for Josephus in that spot? That's why I said it's hotly contested.
Best manuscript?
For it,
in regards to manuscript, all the manuscripts we have for Josephus are the ones that were preserved by Christians. And I don't think there's any serious scholar, any at all. You'd have to be a crazy fundamentalist to believe that the Testimony Flavianum in its entirety is completely original to Josephus. No one seriously takes that position.
Okay. Here's an idea. If you this is a really good part though. Even if you exclude it, what does it say about the early Christians in the first half?
The only thing that we can get from the most authentic version of the TA is from the TF is there was a man named Jesus who was known as a wonder worker, who was at the behest of the principal man among us, was crucified under Pontius Pilate, and his followers still remain to this day. That's it.
Right. He also believed so forth, so on, about what they believed. What else did he say about what the Christians believed?
When does Josephus talk about what Christians believed? I'm unaware of such a passage.
Well, I'm referring to the first passage when he talks about him being the Messiah.
He doesn't.
Right, and
that's not original to Josephus.
Now here's the idea, and I give you that. That's what a lot of people say, but there's no argument really against the text being not accurate, because
The fact that was Josephus a Christian?
He was a Jew, probably converted to Roman on the Roman side.
Would a non-Christian Pharisee say that Jesus of Nazareth was the Christ? Does that make any sense?
No. Here's the idea. I don't have a problem with that, but my problem is that to reject it on the grounds because of that doesn't make sense to me.
The fact that the fact that Josephus was not a Christian is more than enough reason to know that this is not something that he would have said. And also him saying he resurrected from the dead in accordance with the scriptures and these and many other wonderful things. No. These are obviously not things written by Josephus. Josephus did not proclaim Jesus was the Christ.
Okay, listen. even if you want, I'm not saying he was a believer. He wasn't a believer. That's not what I'm saying he was.
If you say
I
that
don't
he
know if
makes the
he's a
claim
believer
that
or not, but
he
my point-
was the Christ, that's him making a. That's him. Yeah, yeah. Jaren, you're more than welcome to tag in on this point, because this is your thing. But no one seriously believes that, and for good reason, that Josephus thought that Jesus was the Christ. My friend Jaren here actually would like to say something about this Josephus stuff.
Yeah, please.
Hey, so
How you
as far
doing?
as Josephus goes, what all do you know about Josephus?
I mainly how he worked for the Romans, historian. Wrote down some of the things in the passages about the first century, what was going on. Wrote in the first century. Wrote down a very small, minuscule part about this, which has become very, very controversial.
Minuscule part about what?
The Christians and him being a Messiah.
So, are you aware as to when and where Josephus was born?
I can't remember where he was born.
So he was born in Galilee.
Mm-hmm.
So the same region as Jesus supposedly grew up in.
Right.
And he was born in 37. He was
Mm-hmm.
a Pharisee, and he absolutely, or he was at least a fan of the Pharisees, and he was absolutely revered by Jewish people up until the point to where he went to go live with the Roman emperor around 70 or so after the first Jewish-Roman War.
Mm-hmm.
So he was aware of Second Temple Judaism and lifestyle and whatnot in Jerusalem, and of course in Galilee. If you're thinking that he only mentioned Christians a minuscule, that was your word, amount.
Well, it's for the Christ, the part of Christ.
Well, no, that'd be the only mention to Christians. There's
Well, I don't
only
think
one
Christ-
potential mention of Christians in the entire volumes of his work.
Right.
So, don't you think that that would be a little bit odd?
No, because he's writing
You
down
don't.
things about the history about his time. What he's seen and saw. If I saw,
Would that
he's
not be
writing-
Christians?
He would write down some things about Christians, probably. Yeah, and he wrote down some
Only
things about.
one potential mention of them? I mean, he mentions every single Christian, or he mentions every single Jewish offshoot or Jewish sect, but he never mentions a particular sect that doesn't practice circumcision anymore.
He goes into length about the Sadducees and the Pharisees and even the Essenes and other groups. And yet all he has to say is one single line about the Christians.
Okay, so I'm saying is, why is that odd? I don't understand. They were a small sect of people that grew up later on and blew up later, like way later. But I mean, I'm saying is like, it serves my point though. He
You don't
mentions
think
something
that
about them.
Paul was going all over the empire, starting all these different churches and everything like that before Josephus was writing? I mean, Paul was literally...
Sure, he's writing in the 50.
Yeah, and Josephus publishes his first work in when?
60...
No.
What, 70? What was it?
70-something. So
60,
about
yeah,
2
67,
decades
70.
after Paul is going around starting all these different churches all around the empire, and you think that's a small group?
Yeah, I mean, it's something he wrote about. I mean, am I wrong? I mean, if I'm wrong, correct me.
You are wrong.
Well, unfortunately... Go ahead.
Correct
No,
me.
I was gonna say this phrase, like, would you find it Josephus was not a Christian. He did not believe Jesus.
I never said he was.
And so he wouldn't say Jesus. He was the Christ.
I'm saying he mentioned Christians.
Would
and
he, as a
mentioned
non-Christian,
Jesus.
say, "quote He was the Christ"?
He very well could have. I don't know.
But he wasn't a Christian.
I'm just using it as a reference. I never said he was a Christian.
No,
Once.
if he says he was the Christ, he would be a Christian. He would believe that Jesus
No.
of Nazareth was the Christ. That's what it means to be a Christian.
No, to be a Christian means you would follow after Christ.
No, as long as you confess that Jesus is the Christ, then you are a Christian. You believe that Jesus.
No.
Do we have any? No. We have no good reason.
Saying
to
anyone was the Christ was blasphemous.
That is absolutely not the foundation of Christianity.
that Jesus was not the Christ. That's literally what, like,
No,
Peter's whole statement was that you are the Christ, the Son of the living God, and upon that
Yes.
rock the church is built. If you confess Jesus Christ as Lord,
Yes.
You're saying that
Yes.
Josephus thought Jesus was the Christ, but he wasn't
Nope.
a Christian.
No, that like I said,
If
I literally said in the beginning
listen,
that could be skeptical.
if I say Donald Trump is the president, am I making a declaration that I believe that Donald Trump is the president?
Well, yeah, you could. Yeah, you don't have to
What-
believe it though. You could still say it.
What? So he was lying. He was lying to his audience when he said
No.
Jesus was the Christ.
No, you can.
He was
say
telling the
something
truth?
is and not follow it. You can say
No,
something.
no,
is and not follow it.
he doesn't say Christians thought he was the Christ. The text that we have from Josephus, the one that Christians are responsible for passing down, says he was the Christ.
Yes. Just because you say someone was something in Christian theology,
Either
which says
Josephus,
even demons believe and tremble.
either Josephus is lying to his Roman audience and that he doesn't think Jesus is the Christ, or you're going to make the claim that Josephus thought Jesus was the Christ. Or,
Okay,
and the most
just
likely is that this is not original to Josephus. It's an interpolation, which is the consensus of scholarship.
Look, I said from the beginning, it is the consensus, what you just said, of scholarship that they reject it. I don't believe that you should reject it just in the base because I don't think.
Turkey head.
There's no evidence to say it's not his.
There is
But I
no,
will
there
say
is
this-
evidence. No, there is evidence to suggest it wasn't his. I've been giving you the evidence. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous to make the claim that Josephus wrote about Jesus that quote he was the Christ.
Okay, listen. How many people
it's not
went around
even
when
just that, it made the whole paragraph, if you just like skip over it, makes sense without it. It's like it doesn't even need to be there.
Okay, but here's my question. When Donald Trump first got elected, how many people were going through the streets saying, not my president?
Irrelevant. If someone says, okay, if I said to you that Kamala Harris is president, what does that say about my belief?
I'd say it's pretty wrong.
Would if I told you Kamala Harris is president, would that be insinuating that I thought she was president?
If you said that, yeah.
If Josephus
insinuate
says
that,
if
yeah.
Josephus says he was the Christ, what does that tell us about what this version of Josephus believes?
My point is still stands
answer the question.
same exact.
Answer the question.
Yeah, it would still say that it gives you the idea that Josephus might have been a believer. That's what it
Okay.
gives you the essence
Do we have
of, and I
any?
give you that.
Is there any good data to support that Josephus was Christian?
I don't have any good data for that. No.
Okay, then I'm going to just say that this is an interpolation. Josephus was a Pharisee. He did not believe Jesus was the Christ. And I'm going to agree with all the data that supports that the phrase, he was the Christ, is an interpolation. Josephus did not write this.
Okay, and it still stands. What is it? Here's the idea. Even if you use the regular standard one that's deleted, was my whole point bringing this up. Does it refer to a sect called the Christians that followed after him?
It refers to him having, if you get rid of the parts that most people think are interpolated, all you're left
Yes.
with is a phrase that Jesus was a wise man, wonder worker, crucified under Pontius Pilate at the behest of the principal leaders of the Jewish people, and that his followers are still following him to this day. It doesn't tell us about whether or not
Right.
what they believed was in accordance with or against like standard Jewish beliefs.
Who does it say he was crucified by?
Under Pontius Pilate. That's it.
And
the
you
behest of-
said according to the
At the behest of the Jewish leaders, but that doesn't tell us that what he
Thank
taught
you.
was
My-
against Jewish beliefs. All it tells us that he did something to piss off the Jewish leaders.
right, which it's plain and hands down. We talked a little bit about that before about him being innocent, and so forth, so on. But my point is still stands the same. One, it's mentioned that they are. In history, Christians are, and that Christians did not believe the same thing as first century. Second century.
in later Christianity, sure, but during the time of Paul, I don't see anything in the New Testament personally that is contrary to any to things that you can find within first century Judaism, including the things
False.
that they say about Jesus of Nazareth as this divine figure are already present in the writings of Philo of Alexandria.
Does Paul ever say anything against circumcision?
Sure, but that's because Paul was in accordance with a certain Pharisaic belief at the time. If you read the Talmud, there are two positions.
We have to go to Talmud.
There are two. Well, if you want to know what the Pharisees believed, where do you go?
Though they don't all. They don't. Well, I would go to Talmud, but they don't all go by that neither. And you know
What
that.
do you mean they
argue
don't
about
all
that.
go by that?
We all don't. We all another like just like Christians. We don't disagree. You don't believe in reading the early church fathers, but they're relevant.
When we talk about the Talmud, we're talking about what the Pharisees taught and believed, and the Talmud shows us that the Pharisees weren't univocal on their own positions. Some Pharisees believed that the Torah would last forever. Other Pharisees believed that the Torah would be done, that portions of the Torah would be done away with at the coming of the Messiah. Paul was just one of the Pharisees. At least his beliefs seem to align with that specific strain of Judaism, the belief that the parts of the Torah are done away with the coming of the Messiah. For more information for my audience, and I guess I'll have to add this book to the Google Doc, Ash. The Limits of Orthodoxy by Mark Shapiro. He's a rabbi who writes about Pharisees and the Talmud who thought that the Torah wasn't eternal.
Well, listen, I would agree with everything you said there. That's not an issue. What I'm saying is that there was a sect of Christianity does not align with
Later in history, not in Paul's time.
Well, no, we're talking about Paul's time. Paul's time right
Again,
here does not agree.
What Paul says aligns with some of the opinions of the Jews, does it not?
A fraction, and this fraction believed they became Christians.
No, there are non-Christian Jews. Were there not non-Christian Pharisees who held that one day certain parts of the Torah would be done away with when the Messiah comes?
Of course, but Paul obviously believed in this sect that this was the Messiah.
Okay, so what Paul is teaching is not contrary to like a form of first century Judaism.
What I'm saying I'm referring to what you're talking about is I'm referring to the exact same thing that you are referring to, that Paul is disagreeing with this other sect of Judaism,
that's fine.
which does not align with this sect.
Jews disagree with each other all the time.
And so do Christians, and I get it.
And so,
and this is
again,
good that we do this.
There's nothing about the theology of Jesus's divinity in the New Testament which you cannot find in one sect of Judaism or another.
What I'm saying is that this part right here, what I brought all that up for, was that this sect of Christians that wrote this book of Hebrews was applying that there. And we may disagree on that.
And all the book of Hebrews tells us is that Jesus was a divine figure, not that he was the God of Israel. There's nothing in the book of Hebrews which runs contrary to anything about angelology and and Second Temple Judaism.
I would say if you believe that Paul believed what he believed, and then you read where it calls him Yud Vei Vav Hey. I don't know how
I've addressed this 3 times already.
I know we did. I know we did. Look, listen, I do got to get to bed. And look, thank you for the conversation. You are very enlightening. Thank you for the tough questions, and thank you for challenging me, and thank you for having me on here and giving me a voice to ask you questions.
All right. Well, you have a wonderful night, World of Fire.
You too, man, and I'll keep in touch. Peace. Shalom.
Shalom. Hey, Jaron. Thanks for the spot on there.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Dalton, check your Discord.
Yeah, my Discord.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Ultimately, obviously, you know that my stance and the findings from stilometry is that the entire testimony of Flavianum is an interpolation. Right?
Yeah, and I'm open to the entire TF being interpolated. I'm fine with that. I'm not yet convinced, but but it's not like something like I'll die on a hill on, because it's like it could very well be. If you take the TF out, if you take the TF out of that section of TF, it makes just as much sense, if not more. Make sure to check.
Also, hi, Jaron.
Hey, Ashley, how's it going?
Well, how are you? Also, just now that we have more people in here, the Discord announcement, we are making a kind of like a beta Discord meeting that we're only going to have like 50 to 100 people join and work out the kinks. If you would like to join, either DM me on TikTok or Dalton, what's your Discord again? The Bible Guy 96?
The Bible Guy
on Discord?
Yeah, the Bible Guy 96, I think.
or Ashland, ASHLYND 94, and I'll put it in the chat. So if you're interested, and this is also for mod positions like YouTube, because we need YouTube mods, and then Discord mods. So if you want into the server, the cool thing about it is you're going to get access for free before any memberships or any of that start to all the Bible Guy resources. Right now, we're just building it. So yeah, just come if you want to come in, work out the kinks. It's I'll drop it in the YouTube chat, and if you're on TikTok, just message me.
And also, by the way, thank you for Deconverted from Truth for the $10 on Cash App. Much appreciated. You're the MVP. Let's see. Do we have any? Yes, I actually have one here. From at Jarek Polek 5114 with the 200. Oh dang! I got another new currency to learn. 1 second. Let's take a look and find out what currency this is. What currency is THB? It is Thai baht from Thailand. So thank you for the 200 Thai baht. Hey, I found you through Deconstruction Zone. I heard about you going full time because your former boss was a dickhead. So I decided, I decided you need my offering more than Justin. Keep on doing the good work. Rock hard for Doug and sinfully wet for Sharon. Well, Jarek, thank you so much. I very much appreciate that, and every little bit helps, especially now that I'm self-employed. Although I will say that I am very grateful to Justin at the Deconstruction Zone for hiring me on as his video editor, and also the Unapologetic crew as well. So thank you to both of them as well. Okay, let's see. Do we have any other guests? Yes, we do. We have Timbersmith. I'm going to ask you the same 3 questions that I asked. Oh, did they disappear? It was a ghost request. All right. I guess I'll bring up the next guest, Skeptic, which sounds like a friendly. So, but I don't have any other opposition at the moment. So, Skeptic, I think we've spoken before, haven't we?
You don't gotta run no more. I had faith, I had strength,
Skeptic?
and I had the luck.
I don't think they meant to come up, Dalton.
Okay.
Hey, Skeptic, you're on the live.
That's fine. It happens all the time. It's and all that tells me is that they were meaning to tap that screen and they actually came up. So Skeptic, and also to the previous guest, thank you for tapping the screen. Tapping is clapping, and we all want to tap and clap Dalton. Remember. Okay, we're gonna bring up the next person, Java. I once wanted to open up when I was younger and I was Christian. I wanted to open up a coffee shop, and I was going to sell things called Jehovah Javas. So there's another embarrassing lore drop about Dalton the Bible guy. But Java, I'm going to ask you the same 3 questions I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old? Java? Java, am I frozen? Ash?
No, I just can't hear him.
Okay.
No.
I can't tell. Ashlyn was being very still. So I was like, oh shit, I must have frozen. Java.
No.
Okay, Java, I guess maybe you accidentally came up as well. But thank you for tapping. What was the person in the comment section over here? It says, Texas Proud 22 says, you are no Bible guy. And guess what, Texas Proud? I'm more of a Bible guy than you are. And also
more of a Texan.
Yeah, also more of a Texan. I think me and Jaren are like twice the amount of Texan as you are. Java is stuck in the script, said Elizabeth.
And I'm like a third amount of the Texan y'all are.
Yeah, I mean, Ashlyn is originally from Texas. She just left, the trader. No, I don't blame her, because I think, Jaren, you'll probably agree that Texas probably sucks right now.
Who has health insurance?
I have health insurance.
I love Texas, but it can be very Texas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Texas is very taxing. Yeah.
Ironically, have income tax, which is actually the only good thing for you as a 1099.
No, okay. Here's a fun. Since I have no guests right now, and I've only got friendlies up, I guess I'll tell a funny story. And Ashlyn already knows this story, but I'm not a very knowledgeable Texan because I thought, Jaron, that we Texans we won the Battle of the Alamo.
No, God damn it.
I thought, remember, the Alamo was like, yeah, because we really kicked some ass.
Oh man, no. No. Yeah. The exact opposite.
I think you live a lot closer to the Alamo, don't you? Isn't that right?
Me?
Yeah, I thought so, right? Or did you live in the...
We are 5 minutes apart from each other.
Oh, you're over in that area. Okay. I don't want to say out loud, but yeah, okay. No, I don't know why I thought you were down more south for some reason. But and one of these days...
Because I'm brown.
Oh, no. Oh, my gosh. But
no. You, me, and Forrest are all about in the same spot.
Oh, right. That's right. I remember now. But I know everyone facepalm for the Bible guy. Yeah, I might know a lot about biblical history. I don't know a lot about Texas history, obviously. I remember.
Well, did you go to elementary school here?
We watched a movie in middle school about the Alamo. And I remember because it had Davy Crockett in it, and at the time I thought Davy Crockett was so cool, but I was incredibly bored, and I don't remember the movie all that well. I'm the Bible guy, not the Texas guy.
There are some pretty interesting like legends that come from like the Alamo and stuff. Like Davy Crockett fought in there. You got Jim Bowie. I mean, both of those people are absolute pieces of shit. Terrible racists.
Oh yeah,
but nevertheless,
as a kid,
you got like the Bowie knife and the coonskin cap and stuff like that, and so it's like, oh hey, like there's merch.
The merch
comes from it.
As a kid, I thought David Crockett was so cool because of the hat, and that he was like an expert marksman or whatever. And then of course later on in life you learn that a lot of the people that we thought were cool in history were absolute POSFFs. That's a term I keep using.
So Dalton, I think I've told you this, Dalton. So because I was in like grade school, when I moved from Texas to New York, I was almost behind like 2 grades in history because of how bad they taught it. And we had different like state exams. I caught up and then I wound up getting an advanced math, but like it was so bad, like absolutely so bad.
I was just bad at history in general. I thought the Boston Tea Party was a tea party. So,
oof.
Yeah. I didn't learn better until I think high school, and I played Assassin's Creed 3, which isn't 100% accurate, but it's more accurate than what I thought the Boston Tea Party was. So there's that.
Yeah. Fun fact: the University of Tennessee, their mascot is the Volunteers, and they are called the Volunteers because a large number of people from Tennessee came down to fight in the Alamo. They volunteered.
Oh, that's right. Oh, wasn't Crockett one of them?
Yes.
That's what I thought. Dalton out here thinking Custer's last stand was a desert potluck. That's so good. That's so good. And it's not far off from the truth, I suppose. At Adam Carmona with the $2 saying, "The stars at night are big and bright. Deep in the heart of Texas."
I was trying to pick. All I know is that I was writing a message, and then all I hear is that song, and I'm like, wait.
It's like Friends. You have to clap. Yeah, exactly. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, if you go to a Rangers game and you don't clap, you're just like men in suits show up and just like take you out. Like you're just not there anymore.
Captain Munch says TIL, bro doesn't know about anything except the Bible. This is not that far from the truth.
He's the Bible guy.
Yeah, I listen.
Not the Alamo guy.
Yeah, Dalton needs a cowboy hat. Here, wait a minute.
Dalton the Alamo guy.
There you go. Anyways, since we're not getting any more guests today, I want to thank everyone for all the likes and all the shares, and for tapping that screen, and for all the super chats. And I've been the Bible guy. Make sure that you follow Christ Before Jesus, Ashlyn, and myself on TikTok and YouTube, respectively. And with that, I've been the Bible guy. And remember, everyone, to keep on learning, keep on reading, and we'll see you on another day. We got one last super chat before we head out. At Hammond Molek with the $10. Hi, Dalton. What do you think of progressive Christianity? I personally think it will die out. It's better than conservative Christianity, but ultimately it's doomed. Listen, actually, in my honest opinion, I think that religion will always progress. I don't think progressive Christianity dies out. I think it just continues to progress. Modern day Christianity bears almost no resemblance to the nightmare that is ancient Christianity. That's because they progressed. They accepted that the earth wasn't flat, that it wasn't the center of the solar system, and they started letting, even in the Catholic Church, women aren't allowed to be priests yet, but at least they can have some positions within the church. So no matter what Christianity tries to do, religion will always progress forward, and eventually, the accent's going to start slipping back in, and eventually, hopefully we'll progress past it altogether, but thank you for that last final super chat. And listen, guys, we'll see you guys again on Thursday at 5 p.m. And perhaps we'll see you. Yes.
Make sure to raid.
Oh yeah, thank you. See, this is Ashlyn's so good because I forget things and I don't remember. So let's see who we can send a raid to real quick. Let's see. In the heart of Texas. It's gonna be sticking in my head now. Also, Lou,
you've got about 5 and a quarter months.
Joel reads the Bible and Born Again. Tiny are all live.
Yeah, go ahead and send everyone. Go to Joel Reads the Bible. Tell him the Bible guy sent you. And again, we'll see you again. Yeah.
Is this payment for using POSFF so often? Is this like your...
Yeah, and tell him that the Bible guy is a huge POSFF. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that, guys. I don't need those rumors spread about me. But hey, I guess we'll see you again on Thursday. Bye. And that's the end of the TikTok live. And now that all of the TikTok people are gone, I can go ahead and talk shit about them to all you YouTube people. I'm just kidding. No. But I guess that'll be the end of this live as well. So guys, thank you for all the super chats. We much appreciate it now that we are no longer employed. This is my full-time job along with editing. So